Welcome back, everybody, to another day of the RSL Season 3. We are in the final day of the groups. My name is Gemini, joined again with Mr. Sturgeon. Welcome back. How we doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great, man. Happy to be here. Group D is where it's at. Some amazing players in this group. It's going to be some really good games. Cannot wait to get started.
Yeah, man, it's going to be some really good games. I mean, so many good players have already made it into the playoffs. A lot of Protoss players have also made it into the playoffs.
True.
Yeah, if you like Protoss players, don't worry, we've got you covered. If you like Terran players, really, you got to get your hopes up today, because there's a great chance that something really funny will happen, and that's both Ryung and Maru potentially not making it out, which would be ridiculous.
Yeah, that would be kind of crazy. I think it's somewhat unlikely, though. Maru obviously amazingly strong. I kind of predict him and Reynor as the favorites to take this group, but who knows what's going to happen. It could go any way. Yeah, it's going to be exciting to find out.
Yeah, the other groups as well had some interesting results. Max Pax coming in first in his group after a pretty poor performance last season, getting out last. So he has definitely upped that performance this time around. And Cure, I think, also the big standout, who got third last season and now is out in the groups. A big swing the other opposite direction for him as well. So some interesting results all around.
Yeah, Cure went really deep in both seasons of the RSL so far. For him to go out so early is a bit of a shock. In Group C, we did have Hero and Shin making it out. We have our first Zerg player. And maybe one more will be joining him today. Hopefully a Terran as well. Mix it up a bit. Keep the keep David Kim happy, everything balanced as it should be, as you say, Gemini.
Yeah, dude. It would be so funny if at the end of this we actually get a perfect balance of things towards the end of the bracket. That'd be so wild. Anyways, here's our schedule. We're on the last day of the first week, of course, and then we're going to be coming back on Thursday with a bit of a squished schedule. We kind of had to move things around because there was a Chinese tournament that was supposed to be happening, but apparently that got moved away, and then now we're just with this schedule anyway, so it's whatever. But we will have lots more matches to be doing on that last week, so it's going to be like a double day for each of those final 4 days. So if you're watching live, it'll be starting a bit earlier. If you're watching on YouTube, it's just going to be a big VOD for you to watch, so
yeah,
it's not
whenever
much
you're
different
free
for you. So that's pretty cool. But regardless, that's the rest of the schedule, and it's going to be a great week of StarCraft.
Speaking of great things, here is our official partner of the RSL. Thank you so much to Archon Studio. These are the premier tabletop miniature games company, probably in the world, right? You can check out their website over at StarCraft-TMG.com. They have a really amazing StarCraft miniature game coming out. Yes. We have the Zeratul here, I believe, which is currently unboxed, but will be painted at some point and shown off here.
Not by us, because we suck at painting things.
Definitely not by me. But I think we're going to get someone
not artistic in the slightest.
But yeah, we're going to get someone who is artistic to take care of that, and then we'll be showing that off. But please check out the website. They have some amazing stuff up there, not just StarCraft related.
True, yes. It's great to have them supporting us, and it's also great to have you supporting us over on the Patreon. If you haven't checked it out, please go ahead and check it out. This is the thing that is basically running this whole event. We love everyone that has been supporting us this entire time. There's so many different things that you can get from this as well. You can vote for players, you can vote for maps, you can get replays every week of the tournament as well. Or if you don't have any money because, for whatever reason, I don't know, many people I guess don't have money for certain reasons, but regardless, you can follow the page anyways and then still get updates on when we're doing stuff. So yeah, just go ahead, check it out. We would love your support, and yeah, you can do that over there.
We also have some merch, guys. You can check it out at tastelessthreads.com. There's hoodies as we go into winter here. Yes. There's mugs for those hot cups of cocoa. You got your t-shirts, you got your pins. You've got the ugliest picture of Tasteless ever on a t-shirt. There's a whole bunch of stuff there.
I love that shirt, man.
That
shirt
funny. Is amazing. I actually need one really bad. But yeah, there's tons and tons of stuff on there, not just what we've shown you on the screen here.
Yes, and the biggest thing of all is that we are having our offline finals in just about a month, a little bit less than that. It is going to be here in Seoul, South Korea, at the Big Place Studio over in Gangnam. There's 2 different types of tickets that you guys can order, so that way you can be here and actually watch everyone doing everything live in person. The regular tickets are $30 a piece, and then the premium ones are $150, and you can get some super cool, juicy stuff with that. You can maybe even give me a high five, or even Tasteless a high five or something like that if you really want to. So that's always really cool. But yeah, please check those out and come along over to the finals, which is going to be following this schedule, Sturgeon.
Yes, on Saturday, December 13th, we will have the LCQ, where any player who's participated in an RSL event, such as the actual tournament or even just the qualifiers, is welcome to come along and play for a spot on the final day, which will be Sunday, December 14th. And yeah, it's going to be a 4-man bracket on the Sunday, and then whoever gets through on the Saturday will be joining the players who qualified through the 3 seasons of the RSL.
Yes. We're going to be having 4 excellent players. It would be really cool to see some potential underdogs maybe make it through the LCQ, since it's going to be basically like an open bracket for anyone that has participated in RSL before. So there's always a chance for some cool upset run or some cool storylines to be shown there. So I'm very excited to see what that LCQ actually does bring to us.
I'm also excited to see the YouTube growing, guys. Thanks for everyone who's been checking that out so far at youtube.com/@ReviveSC2. If you're watching on there already, thank you so much. Drop a like and subscribe. We appreciate it. Drop a comment if you're watching the VOD. It all helps us push our tournament through the algorithm on YouTube and keep growing this thing.
Yes, it's been pretty good so far. We got all the VODs coming up as well, so you can get them all nice and condensed as well if you don't want all the the commercial times and everything like that. So you can get them all right there. And we're going to be going into our first match in just a little bit here. It's going to be Reynor versus SOS. Some 3 pretty standard maps from the last map pool coming on in. Everyone banning out the new maps apparently, but this is going to be a bit of an uphill struggle, I think, for SOS. He's definitely someone who's very historied. Obviously has won maps massive tournaments in the past, like a BlizzCon, like an IEM Katowice, but recently he's not exactly been that same caliber player, whereas Reynor really has been for the most of the last few years, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, Reynor's as good as it gets when it comes to Zerg players, you know, top of the top. Really excited to see what he's going to be bringing to the table here today. We are into our first game, guys. It's going to be on Persephone. In the top left, as the blue Protoss, it is SOS. And in the bottom left, it is Reynor as the red Zerg.
Oh, yeah, let's go. Let's see what we got going on here. I mean, SOS, obviously, someone who, if you're new to StarCraft, if maybe you haven't been seeing some of the older stuff that's been happening over the years, SOS is definitely someone who will throw out some very strange builds here and there. He is very tricky, he's very cheeky, he loves to bring in a couple random 2-base all-ins or just things that you really have never seen before. He has this very, very personalized approach to the game in general, and so I'm much going to be looking forward to see if he has any of that kind of stuff in store, even in this type of, even in this day and age, basically, of StarCraft 2's history, if he's still able to come up with stuff like that. Because it feels like overall, once a game is out for so long, there's only so many tricks you can pull. Everything kind of gets figured out. There's, you know, standards that get developed, and it feels like up until this point, StarCraft has kind of hit that kind of standard situation where it's hard to just bring some of this weird stuff out.
Yeah, over time it kind of tends more and more towards macro games, right? As players get better and better at identifying what kind of cheese or timings they're being hit by, you know, ironing out their responses to it, that kind of thing. We did see this game that SOS has actually not gone for either a Pylon Scout or a Gateway Scout. So Reynor was able to take that hatchery, a 16 hatch at his natural, nice and comfortably. That's very nice for him. And eventually this Overlord will get over to the Protoss wall and see what's going on.
Yeah, choosing to do the no scout approach is SOS to try and just get as many minerals and resources as possible to make his build as efficient as possible. This is definitely something that SOS would like to throw in here and there to try and get any sort of edge that you can, just assuming that Reynor's not going to do anything super risky. You see so few 12 pools or Baneling busts or, you know, proxy hatches, stuff like that in ZVP, so it's honestly pretty, it's a good calculation to make from a lot of Protoss players to just not even bother scouting sometimes, to just see if you can get these little edges to get, you know, a slightly faster Stargate or, you know, Warp Gate super fast for some crazy charge lot all-in or something, you know, whatever. But SOS will go for that approach this game with a Stargate behind it as well, so pretty stock standard from him as well, as Reynor just tries to go up to his stable 3 bases for a, what's going to be a just totally normal PvZ, it looks like.
Yeah, the Overlord did see the time in on the Warp Gate there on the building, so he probably knows it's a Stargate. I mean, you can always be cheeky with it, you know, be sneaky, but normally that delayed Warp Gate will mean a Stargate is coming up behind this. Of course, you like to get the confirmation. We may see that Overlord fly in at some point. And yeah, it's actually going to be a Void Ray first here for SOS.
And that just really just continues to build this little storyline we have for SOS, where he does love doing these little weird, cheeky things. And a Void Ray first is the perfect way to hide some strange tech or... what? Okay. Or we can just build a pylon in front of the 3rd base. That's another strange thing we can do. But the Void Ray is usually very good at just, you know, clearing Overlords, so that way you can hide some tech for something weird.
What am I looking at?
I really can't go and tell you what the heck that pylon was, but it's going to be a fleet beacon to follow it up. And,
I'm trying to think why you might do that. The only thing I can come up with, Gemini, is that you don't want the Lings to do to run around the edge of the map and run into the Protoss space if your Adept leaves. But his Adept hasn't left, so I'm really confused what that was about. Yep, but anyway, that happened. It's going to be a fleet beacon, as you mentioned. We're in for something wild here.
Because, like, the way he put it as well, it looked like it was, like, just barely... It was supposed to be just barely out of the building vision, right?
Right.
Like, you can't see it when it's being morphed still, so... But he only had 1 gateway, I think, so it's not like you can really warp anything in.
You can't make anything. You can't, like, cannon it or, you know, cannon rush the base or something.
You couldn't just, like, warp into Adepts and just, like, kill drones or anything. It was just, like, okay, I don't know. Anyways, not really anything to happen with that, just gets canceled, as we have a couple more gateways now getting thrown down, with the fleet beacon still being idle, not doing anything. I don't believe that's been scouted, as the Void Ray should have been able to clear that, although he keeps making... Alright, so we were talking about how SOS does weird things, let's remember that. But
it's a mothership, Gemini.
Oh my god, he's mothership rushing. I love him.
It's a mothership and some gateway units behind this. This is going to be so crazy.
Oh, this is sick.
I mean, as the Zerg, you got to have detection for this, right? If you don't have the detection, the cloak can just instantly end the game. Obviously, this map is close by air between the main bases, so there's actually a short distance for that mothership to travel. And the Void Ray makes sense because you're going to clear out the Overlords, clear the vision of the Zerg, so that mothership can make a beeline. But right now, we do actually see that Reynor has 2 Zerglings running around outside the Protoss main base, so he may see this coming ahead of time.
Yeah, he really needs to get that in position to be able to kill those Lings. I thought that Adept was actually going to get ran by for a second there. It looked like it was out of position, but we'll be able to kill that off. Oh, never mind. He runs away. I lied to you. But it looks like what it's going to be, honestly, it could be a mothership recall in the main with force fields on the ramp.
That's what I was just thinking.
And
yeah,
like,
he's doing...
There's another player called Prince who used to do something like this a long time ago that me and M. Canning especially got like so amazed by this build, and it's so funny because you just get there so fast with the mothership. Unfortunately, he did not clear out the Lings though, and so the mothership will be seen. That would have been insane if he threaded the needle through those, but that is a scout that is so useful for Reynor right now that he's actually gotten. That is so critical. What's the response going to be?
Well, he brings all his units to the main, which is the right call. He's making Ravagers so he can clear out the force fields. All the Queens coming over to provide some anti-air, and he just needs to make sure he has detection, and we do see an Overseer on the way as well. Reynor has an overdrone right now. He's sitting on 54, and I think he's in a good spot to be able to deal with this, honestly. Oh. Here comes the recall, Gemini.
Oh my god, he didn't actually go far enough to realize that the whole army is waiting for him. He thinks that this isn't scouted, but everything is in preparation in the main base here for Reynor, just completely destroying this army. The mothership will stay alive for a really long time. Oh, that Bile is sick as well, getting a lot of those units. There's not much anti-air for the mothership. It's only the Queens, but still, there's nothing left underneath. A perfect read from Reynor, getting the scout, and SOS knows there's no hope left. Man. Just leaves immediately in shame.
Laughing as well. He was having a laugh at the end of that game. I mean, you got to clear the Lings if you do that, right?
Yeah.
The whole premise of this build is you're going to take the Zerg by surprise, recall in the main, and like you say, force field the ramp forever so the Zerg units can't get up, and you're going to try and just take out the main base and end the game. But the Lings do see it. Reynor's, all prepared for it. He even brings Spore Crawlers over. So if the Overseer dies, you have a little bit more detection as well as the anti-air. Just completely prepared for it.
Yeah, I mean, when you scout the mothership, it's it kind of just all falls into place there, right. I feel like. So, yeah, SOS, I think, I wasn't looking exactly at what the Void Ray pathing was earlier on in the game, but it feels like he probably killed off an Overlord or something in the left and then was like, okay, that's that. I don't have to worry about that anymore. And he tried to... You try to like kind of snake around the whole area to try and get any Overlord that might be on that path, and then you kind of come back later. But he didn't go all the way back towards his main base to clear out any potential other thing, which it seems like the Lings came a little bit afterwards, and so a bit of an I don't know, he just forgot about it basically. And yeah, the mothership gets scouted. Very unfortunate, because when that build works, it's really funny, dude.
Well, yeah, for the pros player, it's pretty funny. That's you. Yeah, it was a wild build. If it had worked, we would be saying it was genius. If it gets scoured, it looks a bit silly to throw a game.
That is definitely one of those builds that, just like it's such a polar opposite, but depending on what actually happens.
Because there's no follow-up. Like, you don't have a third base behind it. You don't have much tech or anything. You just have your gateway units. So yeah, the Zerg's already on 3 base. They can drone up even more, or they can probably even just counterattack once they get enough anti-air to deal with the mothership. Yeah, game number 1 will go to Reynor here.
Yeah, the way that he did it as well, SOS coming off of the 2 base, it's just like so quick. He's just trying to get like the fastest possible mothership out, it feels like. The one that I was mentioning earlier that Prince made a long time ago, it's like actually a slightly later one where it actually gets like a 3 base setup and then going into the mothership, also with like Blink and +1 as well. So it's like, even if the mothership play doesn't work, you still kind of have something to fall back on a little bit, where you can still kind of play with Blink +1 a little bit if you can get some damage done. This one was just a full-on, just complete all-in version, where it was just, if the one recall doesn't work or does insane damage, there's really nothing else you can hope for. So SOS, realizing that, leaves the game and comes on into Tokamak here to try and block the hatchery of Reynor.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it makes sense why you didn't pilot, probe scout in that last game. When you're going completely all in like that, you don't really need to, right? And you have the Void Ray as well. if there's any crazy early aggression from the Zerg. This game, we do see the Scout, and the natural hatchery will be blocked, so Reynor will be able to take that at the triangle base third. Zergs are very comfortable doing this nowadays, but it still does disrupt you a little bit. If the Adepts come over, you have to make a few more Zerglings that you would maybe like to. But yeah, you should be able to hang on just fine. And the pylon is actually in the main here for SOS.
Oh my god, you're right. Wait,
what is going on here? It's not even at the ramp.
Yeah, wow.
Okay.
So, yeah, yet again, so SOS known for doing obscene, strange things, and this is yet again one of them. I'm at a loss.
How do you hold a Ling Flood with this?
I mean, it's a total gamble. It's like a
it's insane, right?
Gamble. No one does these early Ling Floods anymore, so it's just, yeah, a complete gamble. But I don't even get why wouldn't you even just try putting it on the ramp anyways? Just to be double safe. I don't know.
I don't know, because
you just throwing the buildings anyway.
Like when you make your tech, you have a second pylon anyway, right? Which you can make in the main. So it's not to high tech or anything. Very interesting here from SOS. I mean, honestly, if this is a ladder game and I see that, I'm just Ling Flooding every time, taking my bets. But we'll have to see what he's planning to do with this here.
Yeah, we saw Hero do this sometimes, but actually still walling the ramp into the main at least. So it seems like a couple of these cheeky Protoss players are experimenting with whatever this is. I've yet to really understand the actual logic and reasoning behind it just yet, so I would love to see more games of it. So yeah, I'm sitting here as a student of the game right now, trying to figure out what in the world is going on in some of these Protoss players' heads.
Yeah, indeed. Very, very interesting stuff. I mean, we're going to see 2 more gates going down now, so they would be finishing in time to deal with Lings, I guess. And you have the Adept as well, which can sit behind them. Reynor just now taking his third base, which SOS will confirm, and then that probe will go home, and it's going to be a Twilight Council follow-up.
Yeah, likely to be some Glaives is what I would have to suspect, given how many Adepts are being made, and just the way the timings are working out. I could see him doing some kind of like initial, maybe like 6 or whatever Adept without Glaives push, and then it looks like you're just doing a little bit of Adept pressure and then taking a third or something, and then it's just actually a surprise, oh, I'm actually making more Adepts with Glaives as well. Like, I've seen Hero actually do something similar to that. I'm not sure, I don't remember if it was off of the same thing where he's doing the one base, like the in-base gate or whatever, but I've seen him do something like that, and it kind of catches the Zerg off guard because they see the initial Adepts without Glaives and like, oh, okay, well, I don't have to worry about a follow-up timing for a little bit while longer because there's nothing else that can come. But then the Glaives come in, so we'll see if this can catch Reynor off guard.
Yeah, he warped in the Adepts. Well, I mean, the Overlord sees that it's coming right now. Reynor's only on 36 drones. He hasn't droned like crazy or anything. He's going to be able to make units from now on, and he may be able to have enough here. I mean, he is still probing behind this, but here come the Adepts. The first shade in is going to be at the third base. Will he commit to this? No, he will not, and he's just on the edge of creep right now.
Yeah, I like this. He's not actually just going to suicide them because he's still setting himself up for the Glaives anyways later. And yeah, I love that too. A Dark Shrine. That's going to be really cheeky. You saw Reynor cancel a Spore Crawler just earlier as well once he scouted that it's not going to be Oracle. And so this could potentially bring in some really interesting flavor to this PvZ. And yeah, so he's just constantly sending these shades out just to threaten them and just to potentially make Reynor stop making any drones. And then he's making sure he keeps them so that way this second follow-up Glaive attack will be just as strong. And then the DTs will come in for the next third punch to potentially knock him out.
Yeah, this is such a cheeky build here coming up from SOS. The Dark Shrine is actually in the natural, so this Overlord will not spot it. We have so many Adepts here. This is so much to worry about as a Zerg player. And on the back of it, there's a Dark Shrine that you need to be ready for as well. We do already see some Spore Crawlers down, so he will have detection in his bases. There's actually not one of the natural, though. I believe just one of the main and the third base right now. So it could be very important where those first DTs do go into. He's still warping in Adept. He's going to be able to defend his third base, which he's taken behind this as well.
That's actually really annoying timing, though, because the Dark Shrine is about to finish, so the DT warp-in will be a little bit later, which means these Lings potentially could have scouted it, but don't actually get it. Now there are drones in the natural, so once the DT does find its way down there, it will actually find damage, provided that the Dark Shrine continues to stay unscouted. And so we'll see if these can really turn the tide here. SOS taking a third base all behind this as well, so he's not all in with this by any means. Is he going to let that finish? Okay, it looked like for a second he was, which would be extremely counterintuitive. I would love him for him to shade into the third right now or something. But does he not know? Is he going to send the DTs to the third? Does he not know there's a spore
well,
there?
He just shaded into the natural, and he saw there wasn't a spore
That's
there,
what
right?
I'm saying.
So he might be shading all the adepts into the main while sending the DTs to the natural. That would be the move that makes the most sense to me. And right now, that's exactly what we see, Gemini. The DTs run into the natural. There is no detection here right now. Reynor does have a layer, but we don't have any overseers on the field or in production, and the drones start to fall.
Honestly, I kind of wanted him to just right-click the hatchery. That could have been such a ballsy move that really paid off well, because there was not an overseer already being made yet, and the spore is so far away. 10 drones is still awesome. Nice body block to get one of them, but 10 drones is still great. Clicking the hatchery could have been a super ballsy gamble move as well that could have potentially paid off, but still really nice damage from SOS with this hidden dark shrine that was hiding in the natural, so the Overlord didn't actually scout it.
Yeah, going for that hatchery can pay off big, but there's a lot of risk reward, right?
Yeah,
like,
of course.
If you get the hatchery, amazing. But if it just barely survives, then you got nothing with this. So I kind of like the choice to go for the consistent damage and going for the workers. Like you say, he gets 10. That brings his work count up to a decent amount compared to the Zerg. Behind this, we see a lot of gateways going down. We see charge. We see +1. There's no storm or anything like that right now. So it looks like SOS is going to continue the aggression in this game.
Yeah, I do kind of like the idea of a follow-up push. However, it seems like Reynor is not really planning on trying to over-drone or anything. He's already making a good swell of lings, some more roaches. He's already going to have a pretty decent army to combat whatever SOS has to bring to the field. And so this might end up actually biting him in the butt a little bit, because he's going to be basically all-inning into someone who kind of is also all-inning. With so many so many roaches being made instead of drones, Reynor is looking like he's going to be very well prepared.
Yeah, and we see a Baneling Nest as well. So he's going to go Road Ravager, Ling, Bane, which can be very good against the composition that SOS is going for. He's actually adding a Robo Bay right now. If he's able to get up to that tech, that could be really good, but I feel like he might not have time.
Yeah, it's going to be definitely very difficult, and I feel like that's got to be Colossus, because Disruptors are absolute they're terrible.
What did you want to say there, Gemini?
I don't know. I was going to say
they're not
something.
the best against.
They're pretty damn bad against Zerg right now. I'm just going to say that. So I would be surprised if it was Disruptors, but this attack coming in from SOS, I feel like is going to be very difficult to make work. I also realized he's got charge. I thought he was honestly going to be going blink.
Yeah, he went charge.
But it's a charge Archon follow-up, which is very interesting. I guess considering you already have the Dark Shrine for Archons, it's kind of an okay play, but since you already saw so many roaches as well, it's honestly, I feel like, better to go for the blink. And so now the mass roach army will be able to just pounce on this and force a recall while we're trying to make Colossus back at home versus a mostly roach army.
Yeah, Reynor's not joining his 4th base. He's just adding a couple more on there. He's only at 70. He's going to be hitting a timing here as he maxes out. All these Banes morphing in. Baneling speed is almost done. He'll definitely wait for that. And then he's going to just launch this massive attack. 2 Colossi in production right now, Gemini. If those can get out and get in a good position. Oh, there's actually a Contaminate, though.
And he's supply blocked on the other Colossus until just now, so that wasn't actually able to come out. A singular Colossus is all that he's got to defend here, with a bunch of charge lots as well. The Banelings need to make nice connections onto those charge lots, and you can see SOS trying to keep them away from the fight until the very last second when he knows those Banelings are gone, trying to soak up as much damage as possible. And the Banelings find the probes instead on the transfer out. Well, that will now allow the Zealots to come walking in, but there's just so much here from Reynor. He's just eclipsing SOS in supply.
Yeah, huge snipe on all those workers there. So, even if you survive this, you're going to be down. The Colossi, basically all he has going for him right now, frantically juggling them with this War Prism, trying to get as much DPS as he can, but there's just too much Zerg. And Reynor will take game number 2 with a very sharp timing there.
Yeah, I honestly like the stuff that SOS brought. It's very interesting. It's kind of fresh. It's this type of unique style that you expect out of SOS. He's not going to be bringing out the standard Oracle into 3rd base, into +1 blink, and then Storm. Like, that's not what SOS is going to be trying to do. So I like that he still has his style, but it's just so hard to make that stuff work versus someone like Reynor, man. He's so diligent with his scouting. He knows his timings. He knows what he can get away with, and yeah, it just showed here.
Yeah, Reynor looking absolutely on point here in the first set of the day. There is a world where he drones up his 4th base and you get a huge number of Colossus out and you try to make a big timing hit before lurkers or something like that, if that was Reynor's game plan. But Reynor said, no, I'm not doing any of that. You've been so aggressive all this game. You know, your tech can't be that advanced. So I'm going to pull the trigger now before you get up to those high tier units, and it works out.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate for him. He's going to have to try his best over in the lower bracket versus whoever will be losing in our next match. But before that, make sure you guys go over to thetastelessthreads.com and pick up some of our offline finals tickets. Come live. Come live
in Korea
Come
with
live
us.
in Korea so that way you can find just a train ticket over. I mean, you're going to have to fly over anyways, I guess, but whatever. Come buy one of these tickets. Come watch us actually talk in person with these people playing in front of you. And so you can see it all happen live. Offline finals happening next month. There's not as many, offline StarCraft 2 events nowadays, so we're trying to bring ours into Korea here to see what we can do with it. And honestly, I'm very excited to see what we can do with this event that we've got planned. And you guys can come join us with those tickets. So please, come join us. It would be so sick.
It's going to be hype, man. It's at the big place, big games, big prizes.
Oh, nice.
Cannot wait, man.
It's going to be great. We got more StarCraft coming up after the break as well, so don't go anywhere. More RSL to continue.
Go inside. Go inside. No! 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 Ah! Oh! Go, 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 go. Go, 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 go. Oh, God! Ah! Oh, my God. Oh! Oh!
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the RSL. I have kicked Tasteless off. He's over on the couch, and we're all bringing me up here with Mr. Sturgeon, of course, to finish off this little best of 5. Well, hopefully not soon, because currently Reynor's up 2-0, and it's looking like a 3-0's on the cards, but hopefully we get a few more games before we get into our next match today.
Yeah, my brain's still stuck on the Scary Games marathon that Tasteless has coming up in October. That's going to be sick. But yeah, Reynor is also looking sick today. Like you said, he's up 2-0, playing amazing. I think he's playing really fast today, really mechanically well. He's got the hood up, Darth Sidious style. He's locked in right now. Cure looking a little bit stressed there, ruffling the hair. The next map, though, Gemini, is going to be Evil Heart here.
Yeah, potentially very interesting game ahead of us. As you were mentioning earlier in the cast, of course, this is one of the more interesting maps that we have in our pool this time around, with a lot of, a lack of bases, I should say. There's really very few bases on this map compared to many of the normal standard maps that we have. So definitely a bit smaller, more prone for some weird shenanigans and whatnot. So very curious if Reynor's got anything cooked up, or if even Cure in this desperate moment might try to go for some sort of a proxy barracks or something like that. We'll see.
Yeah, we saw Reynor go for some roach builds yesterday against Maru. He was actually able to win both of those games. If you're going to do a build like that, I think this is the map that you look at in this series and say, okay, I'm going to do it on Evil Heart, right? It's such an aggressive map, so few bases, as you mentioned. Hard to play like a really long macro game. I think there's going to be a lot of aggression on one side. And yeah, I can't wait to see what we see here. This map is so red, by the way.
It is true. Yeah, it's very red. Oh, what is this
drone coming over?
Here? No way, we're going to get a proxy hatch in ZVT? That's a
in
wild.
2025?
The big 2025. God damn, look at that. It's right there in the net. Wow, okay, so this is going to be very interesting then. I mean, surely it's going to be spine crawlers of some sort as well. And so it seems like Reynor really does have a couple of nice little cheeses cooked up and hidden up his sleeve to pull out against these Terrans.
Yeah, you love to see it. This is probably a map-specific thing he's doing here, knowing that the macro game's going to be a little bit tough. He's going to throw down the proxy. He's getting a gas and pull behind this. Spine crawlers are possible, as you say. We'll have to see what he wants to go for. Cure does not know about this until now. Okay, now he knows. And he's going to instantly make a bunker. That's a good reaction by him. No hesitation whatsoever. The second SCV going to start to poke away on that hatchery, do some damage. Reynor is going to expand behind this, though, so I don't think he's going to go like super aggressive with this. Just try and delay the CC maybe for as long as he can.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, it looks like he might just cancel it in the last second. Or even... he might even just let it finish and just like let the creep actually expand, because it will take a long time for the creep to go away. So that's also a possibility as well. Obviously, we'll see what Reynor wants to do with it. And it looks like, yeah, he will just let it finish. He's going to make a couple lings, a queen or so, and try to at least do something here. I guess he could still kind of all in with it. I'm going to be honest. I'm not like totally up to date with these types of Zerg cheeses, so I'm just kind of learning along with the rest of you guys here. So this will be definitely interesting. Oh my God, the Reaper getting stuck would have been awful. That would have been a terrible start for this defense for Cure if that happened.
Yeah, Reynor actually going to commit to making some lings here. He's making nothing but lings right now. I think this is going to be a ling all in here. That bunker will probably die at some point once the ling speed is done. A queen is going to come out, can throw down a creep tumor. You know, spread the creep towards the Terran main. Going to add a bit more damage on a second queen as well. Okay, Reynor's going for this. Nothing but lings in production. It's all about how can Cure defend this right now. He has a couple Marines in the bunker. Oh, this Reaper getting so low on health, but will manage to survive. The bunker going down on the high ground is key. Will Reynor go?
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Group D here in Season 3 of the RSL. Boy, you and Sturgeon had some fun with that last series. We were just talking before we went live today about how SOS, he's kind of lost that magic. I know he just got 2-0'd, but he's been playing a lot of macro games. And then to have him play a Mothership Rush and then a 2-base DT opening was so much fun versus Reynor. But we're about to go into a TBT now. Ryung versus Maru. I think we got to give the advantage to Maru here, right, Gemini?
I mean, yeah. Ryung definitely a TVT sniper, I would say, though. That's definitely been his title, I feel like, for quite a while in StarCraft's history. So I still feel like Ryung potentially could bring something out here. Obviously, this is a team kill match as well. Maru and Ryung still on the same team, Vitality, and so they have basically been best friends for forever, and they just know everything about each other. And yeah, they can't seem to escape these team kills. This always happens all the time with us, but for some reason, we're back again. So I'm still excited to see if Ryung can bring something special here.
Yeah, Ryung's one of these OG guys who just always has something special cooked up. I've even seen him, I think, bring out mech on some of these new maps versus players like Reynor. It's been really fun to watch him, and let's see if he can take down Maru, the top dog for Terran here in Korea for maybe a decade going on now, and a TBT specialist in his own right. Map 1 going to be Winter Madness, and then we're going to Celestial Enclave for set number 2. And should we go to a map number 3, it will be played on Botanical. So 3 new maps here.
Yeah, I love to see some of the nice variety, as we just had a couple of boring maps from our last series. A bunch of boring gamers bringing out really old ones. Now we got a nice set of new ones for you. Winter Madness, like you said, the first one going to be coming on up. A very beautiful looking map, I should say, by the way. I very much like the colors and everything. It's very cool looking. It's very good. These map makers are pretty good at making some artistic looking maps.
Oh yeah, I feel like the maps have been so beautiful for the majority of StarCraft 2's history. But personally for me, like I like the snow theme when we're here in the studio with the bright lights. Yeah. But when I'm at home and every single light in the room is off except for my monitor, I kind of get flashbanged on this one. It might be a veto just based on that.
You're one of the basement gamers that just puts all the lights out and they just don't have anything else but the monitor?
Yeah, I'm alone. It's like 30 C in my room, but I still have a hoodie on.
Nice, yeah. I like to still keep a couple lights on, you know. I don't want to just the full lights out is for when I'm, you know, watching a movie or something to get the full immersion, but you know, the gamer time, I still need some lights on. I don't know.
I want to fully immerse myself even when I'm playing StarCraft 2 there, Gemini, but yeah, it's a little bit tricky on these snow maps. So we have Maru down here in the bottom right. I'm wondering what kind of openings we're going to have from both of these folks. Maru, he's usually been favoring more of the technical sides of TVTs. He's really good at just getting kind of a ragtag group of 5 different units, making some real magic happen with them across the map, and it'll be fun to see, because I feel like whenever you have a rotation in the map pool like this one, it always makes it a little bit easier to be aggressive. You know?
Yeah, that's true, especially because a lot of players just don't really know where the best spots are. The the attack paths maybe are a little bit different, or maybe some units kind of get split in awkward directions, or maybe you just don't know where the best proxy spots are, especially in like PvP, for example. But TvT, you don't see as much of that. Maybe you'd see like a proxy 2-Rax Reaper or Marauder or something, but I feel like it's not the most popular thing as of late. But regardless, yeah, the new maps do tend towards aggression overall. Everyone just has to kind of feel it out to know exactly what they can get away with, and so that's always on the cards, but nothing super crazy just yet. I wonder, did he see that SCV?
I don't think he did. That's such a cute little hiding spot there for the SCV. That's awesome. All right, SCV going to be pushing up the ramp right now. Bold SCV going to be leading the charge over here, but a second Reaper will soon be done here for Ryung. For now, he does have to pull back, use this SCV as cannon fodder for the Reaper of his own to defend the command center here on the low ground, as the Reaper finally finishes and just stabilizes the position.
It's kind of cute. I like that idea, just to put the SCV out there. Maybe you can get like, a hit if the Reaper's not paying attention, or just soak up a shot, so then you can get a little closer to get your shot off first or whatever. So a cute little play from Maru. Doesn't quite really work out for him though, but I like the attempt. And just going to be going for the expansion behind this as well, kind of mirroring exactly what's happening with just a little bit earlier of a starport as well compared to Ryung. I believe Ryung got an extra Hellion or something out. It seems like he has just an extra unit or two to try and combat what Maru has, and will get the jump on the Reaper. Gets the first one for free, and nice pickoff, and even a question mark coming out from Maru. I love it.
Oh, big laugh from Ryung when he pushed in there. Maru with a bit of a smile of his own. It's always fun to me whenever you see the players chatting like this, how they sometimes do in the RSL, because it's almost like, you queue up a ladder game in like the early 2000s, and you're like, hey, where are you from? And then the Lings start running up the ramp. Yeah, for a moment I was wondering if it was Ryung asking the question before he pushed into the natural expansion.
I was even
of
thinking
Maru.
the same thing. It's like, actually, they need to stop talking. It's like, I don't know. This is when does it become too much? That's so funny.
Yeah, the Terrans especially are quite chatty, I've found.
Yeah, well, I guess they have a lot to talk about with, I don't know. they like to,
you got to find humor in your life some way.
They like to run their mouths. They don't have much to go for, I feel like, lately, so, you got to get something. But yeah, it's going to be some Ravens coming out for both players as well. The hodgepodge of units is going to just continue here as we get some continued chat from both these players. They do not want to stop talking to each other. It's so funny.
All right, going to be a Raven opening here for Maru, going very quickly into the Siege Tank. Ryung, I think, making a second Cyclone, actually, so a little more of a mobile composition. And actually, look at this, going for a very quick Interference Matrix upgrade as well. So Ryung getting a little bit technical here with this opening.
Yeah, I do like it whenever they do go for the Interference Matrix. I like the... If there's something I do like about TvT, it's sometimes these interesting early games where they try to like bust really quickly with a lot of Ravens to like, Interference Matrix the tanks, and then you can kind of just jump on their position really quickly. It just kind of leads for some kind of interesting engages and stuff like that. So Ryung might be trying for something like that with this fast Interference Matrix. Well, Maru also going for it as well, just a little bit later. So just rounding out this early game composition of, just getting the Ravens, getting some tanks, eventually going into what will likely be bio with some stim and combat shield just a little bit later as this third base sets up, or it could be mech.
It could be mech. Mech kind of is the premium composition in TvT, and we've seen a lot of Terran players like Maru, like Gumiho especially, just catapult themselves into those Sky Terran and mech compositions very, very quickly. But we say that more starting stim pack, so that's not going to be the play coming in from our blue Terran player. At least Ryung, as of yet, has not shown his hand, and I wonder now with Interference Matrix done, or at least I was wondering if he was going to try and make something happen, but it seems like he will be levying a little bit of pressure here on the potential third base of Maru. So not really waiting for that Interference Matrix to be done, instead just waiting until he has a critical mass of units.
Yeah, he's got a pretty threatening force here, and Maru's kind of split around in his main and natural, so there's a chance maybe that he can find like a unit here and there and then just kind of jump and snowball it. He's got a really large army. He's got like a whole 10 supply up on Maru at this point, still with the third base coming and a double eBay behind it. There's the first Interference Matrix, second to follow as well, and there's the jump that we were talking about. SCV's forced to be pulled. There's definitely going to be some damage here from Ryung.
Yeah, the missile turret's able to absorb a lot of the impact, though, here for Maru. And that means that Ryung, he's not really able to capitalize too much on the interference matrix, pumping on those 2 siege tanks. Instead, he's going to start inching himself closer and closer towards that natural expansion. Yeah, that siege tank just barely clipping the refinery here, and the natural should have vision from these Ravens. And Maru looks like he has a little bit more energy left on the Ravens in total. He might be able to throw down a couple more auto turrets, but no, it's actually just going to be an interference matrix.
Does interference matrix prevent you from unsieging?
I think it does, but
that must have
Ryung
been the
just clicked
timing.
it.
Yeah, I was like so confused for a second there. I was like, wait a minute.
I think it's just like how with the new change on the abduct, as long as you siege it right, you can dodge the abduct a little bit. It's a similar thing here with the matrix.
Nice, yeah. Good timing to keep that alive at least, so that's good. No counter damage from Maru just yet. But this third base coming down so much faster from Ryung will let him get his economy boosted really quickly. Maru's going to have to try and get this a little bit later, and obviously the units from Ryung still here to potentially delay it, and that's what he's going to try to go for. It almost jumps it, but just doesn't really want to go just yet. We'll just continue to shell it from afar, and Maru's going to be the one to try to break it.
Yeah, a little bit of an SCV pull as auto turrets get thrown down on both sides. It looks like Ryung just has the better arc right now. Maru is sieging there on the back line, but he's not able to push through the position despite 2 interference matrices on the tanks on the left side. He's going to have to lift up the command center and pivot down towards the 6 o'clock expansion, I imagine, because Ryung is just in such a commanding position with this tank line right here. We already saw it earlier when Maru first tried to take that third base. He was walking into a trap. His first siege tank got instantly popped by the 3 siege tanks of his opponent. And now Ryung knows that Maru's pivoting down to the 6 o'clock side, and he's not letting him take it.
Yeah, this is a really interesting game from Ryung. I mean, he's really just took control of it from the very beginning, just keeping that tempo in his favor, not letting Maru take any of these third bases. He's just fully set back on 2 bases this entire time. Maru had the faster 1-1 for his Marines, so it was going to be able to keep him pretty nicely into the late game. Actually, there's no combat shield yet either for Ryung, so lots of things were cut from Ryung to be able to get this position, but it's really paid off well for him. He's booming ahead in supply at this point, and Maru is only just now getting that third landed and finding any sort of leverage on the map.
Yeah, the units lost tab really does tell the story. Ryung has been so much more cost efficient with the units on the map already, and with that third base mining uninterruptedly for the majority of this game now, it's just been a huge boon here for Ryung as he stims forward again. Another interference matrix on those tanks on the back line as Ryung is able to push through at least to the third base for now. He's going to use this to inch himself closer and closer to sieging. Maru proactively denying that by getting his siege tanks forward on that command center, but I mean, the supplies really do tell the story. Ryung has been in such a great position, even from the early game. It's 71 SCVs to 52.
Yeah, that's actually a ridiculous lead to have in a mirror matchup of an economy situation. Like, absolutely ridiculous. The 2-2 also is fully on the way for Ryung. Maru, despite having the faster 1-1 finished, he had to cut this to be able to get any more units out to stay alive, so his 2-2 will be extremely delayed. Maru pushing out a little bit here against Ryung as the reposition comes in, and a nice volley of tank fire actually getting onto those Marines will force Ryung back, and that will even up the supply just a little bit as Ryung still doesn't really want to just let this go at this point. He wants to continue the pressure and continue this contain on Maru and make him fight for it.
Yeah, but Maru's making a lot happen with very little right now. One of the reasons why he's able to muster this many forces is because he's skipping 2-2. He's skipping +1 vehicle weapons. He realizes that he's behind economically. He has to make some concessions to open up a window where he can get something done on the map. And right now, before 2-2 is done for Ryung, that is Maru's window. So he's pushing very aggressively, inching forward, just leapfrogging with the siege tanks, with the liberators, trying to push Ryung back. But that's a big armor shredding missile on those Marines. Maru has to disengage for now.
Yeah, this is really just super close from both these players. Just this tiny line they're dancing on right now is absolutely ridiculous. Each doing little tiny sieges and unsieges here and there, putting a Liberator slightly more forward. The Raven missile as well onto the bio is absolutely critical for Ryung to make sure Maru can't just jump him. And now he's really found himself into a nicer position, though, is Maru, but potentially going into a concave up on both of these ramps is going to be so difficult for him to push up into, I feel like.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to have to pick and choose one side. That will be the south side here as a couple Marines stem forward. More Liberators now joining the forces. 2-2 is finally done for Ryung. So Maru, he delayed that upgrade for a very long time. He's going to have to pay the price right now. But it seems like it's these more technical sieging units. It's the Liberators. It's the siege tanks that are carrying the value for Maru. Ryung Based on the minimap, he's either setting up a big counterattack or a flank. We'll see what the play is going to be as Maru stems up the ramp. And it's a little bit of a meat grinder on both sides. The bad news for Maru, this is only half of Ryung's army.
Yeah, this is going to be a massive counter push coming in from Ryung. Maru not expecting this whatsoever. Everything rallying across to meet this main army. And now Ryung's bio is going to have free reign into the natural. Tank not siege, Liberator not siege, forced to go back into the main base here as Maru now needs to make a huge punch into the natural and third base of Ryung to stay in this game.
Oh, and Ryung, he focus fires down so many of the supply depots, even depots that have the extra supplies drop down on them. So Maru, he is big time supply blocked here. He's able to force a lift off on the third command center, but his natural expansion is already vacated. Looking at the minimap now, the third base is under siege. That's going to go down to these 2-2 Marines. And I think Ryung is very close to taking this one. Maru, he still has a 2-2 upgrades coming into the natural expansion, but there's basically no mining, and the army supply absolutely dwarfed by Ryung.
Yeah, this is going to be so difficult for Maru. He's basically got like only tanks as this army, and he realizes that Ryung with an upset first game win against Maru in this second match today.
That was an incredibly impressive win coming in from Ryung. He got the smallest of leads in the early game, and he just held on to it the entire match. And I got to give credit to Maru because he was looking like he was down and out when he lifted his third command center, when he had to get sent over to the 6 o'clock position, and then that got denied. He had to pivot it back to the triangle third, and there was such a delay in mining, whereas Ryung on his side of the map, he's just happily gathering all these minerals, all this gas. He's getting the 4th command center set up even. But Maru, he made so much happen by delaying 2-2, by delaying +1 vehicle weapons. He used that little tiny surge in money of not making that investment, whereas Ryung did make that investment, and he almost pushed back, but Ryung at that point just a little bit too strong.
Yeah, it is honestly really impressive, just the things that Maru was able to make work even in these awful situations. Like, yeah, sure, he lost, but like you said, it's like being able to identify, like, okay, I need to cut this, this, and that, and then I actually have a timing. And it almost worked.
Yeah.
If he didn't just get counterattacked super, just unexpectedly, he still has an opportunity there, I think, to really drive that home. I love that Ryung also then kind of realizes the situation and says, no, I can defend up this tiny ramp. It's so difficult for him to push up here. I have a window now also to go for a counterattack and a real killing blow. And both players just showing their absolute expertise of this matchup. This next game surely is going to be just as good, I hope.
Yeah, the decision making on both sides was just so cool to watch. Ryung definitely getting the better edge on that one, and even going for the counterattack, that is just him making a judgment call, like, you know what, you do have a very strong push coming here in the front. You've got the siege tanks, you got the liberators, you're doing this leapfrogging tactic, but can you actually deal with just a big blow at your natural expansion? Do you really have enough stuff to deal with this 3 medevac push into your expo? He didn't, but that's going to be Ryung.
Spoiler alert. No.
Yeah. All right. Well, Ryung down here in the bottom left, the red Terran. Maru in the top right, the blue Terran. Ryung leading the series 1-0 already in very impressive fashion.
Yeah, we kind of said that if anyone could upset Maru here in the TVT, it might be Ryung, the TVT sniper himself, coming right back in. Always a threat in these TVTs, it feels like. But, I mean, I feel like it would be a hard ask to say he's going to 2-0 Maru at this point. Like, Maru, I don't expect him to just bow out all of a sudden to go into the losers match right away. It would be kind of funny as well. Imagine he does go to the losers match and then SOS is there. Remember that one time, long time ago, when it was Maru SOS? I think maybe like a Katowice or BlizzCon or something, and everyone's like, no, SOS, no chance at all. And then you totally like 3-0s Maru out of nowhere, and just like everyone's like, what the? Like, no, not this. Could happen again. Who knows? Maybe Maru dips out early.
SOS has always been a little bit of a wild card. Speaking of wild cards, okay, for a moment I got excited. I was wondering if we're going to have anything hidden over here in the natural expansion, but no, just using that the little glass shards there.
It is really weird when you first play it too, because like that's actually that's the default scouting path. Like it just goes there naturally if you just click across, and it's really awkward. So like you kind of don't realize what's actually happening if you don't send the scout right away. You have to account for that a little bit. So yeah, we'll actually just go there and just loops on out. That's actually pretty funny. He just goes right in, sees everything. He's like, all right, I'll see you later.
Yeah, it is a cool little circuit this SCV does. Love to see it. This map, one of my favorites of the new additions. It just plays very differently. We got the worker-only path. We have this expansion here in the backside, which you see it's only, what is this, 5 mineral patches? Whoa. A couple of those are low minerals, only 1 gas, so it's kind of like half a base.
Yeah.
And Maru, before even throwing down a factory, is going Reaper double expo, whereas we have Ryung actually throwing down a bunker back at home. He doesn't really know what's going on.
Yeah, that's a really interesting play from Maru. I kind of like it. Just something weird, something that goes to the map, basically. Like you're saying, it's an in-base natural, so it does allow you to kind of do this. Even though it's less minerals, less gas, you can still get away with something like this, as there's only that worker-only path that can actually go over there unless you drop something. So maybe this will catch Ryung off guard and totally I don't know, just make this early game something that Ryung is not really used to, because this is a very new map and a very new situation for him.
Yeah, and actually thinking back to game number 1, I think in neither of these games did Ryung go for an early SCV scout. That's why Maru left that one SCV in the bushes in game number 1 to pair up with the Reaper to try and get some compensation for having all this lost mining time. He's like, all right, well, I lost the mining time going for my SCV scout. I'm just going to try and at least delay your natural expansion. Here in game number 2, he recognized that Ryung once more not going for an SCV scout, and that means that Ryung, he has to play kind of safe. He has to do things like throw down that bunker there, the natural expansion, because he doesn't know exactly what the big picture is on Maru's side of the map, and Maru just exploiting that with a very fast third base. Double engineering base, I think, got thrown down, and 3 barracks, still no factory.
Yeah, this is a pretty ridiculous build coming out of Maru. I love to see it, though.
It's like a TBZ build almost.
Yeah, seriously. It looks like he's ramping up for an 8 racks
or
something. It's like absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, 1-1 stim mass bio is going to be the play here from Maru. We'll see when he actually does throw down that factory in Starport to eventually get some medevacs. Surely you need to have that in a TVT. I would be very surprised if he just YOLOs it with only Marine stim and 1-1. That would be absolutely ridiculous. But for now, he is just kind of cranking out as many units as possible to make sure that he doesn't die to any sort of random attack that might just come his way. But seeing that third base getting dropped down from him will honestly just kind of get those woes out of there. He's feeling probably pretty good about this setup.
So Maru starts combat shields and 2 more barracks before the factory.
Wow.
And that means that he's going to have a timing lined up with 1-1, stim, and combat shields should he choose to use it.
Goodness.
Which is just going to be such a blunt object to hit Ryung over the head with in a couple of minutes here. He is just slowly amassing this group of Marines, and Ryung, he is throwing down his 3rd command center right now. He's going for a Cloak Banshee opening. That's over here at the 3 o'clock, just waiting for that upgrade to be done and potentially to pair it up with some army here on the front door. I don't think we have any turrets here for Maru, but what a force that Maru's mustered here at the natural expansion already. I'm wondering if he's going to be moving out here in just a moment.
And we got the polar opposite happening from Ryung as well. He's going into mech after this.
Yeah.
So we're going to have the full-on, super fast 3-base bio play against what is then going to be a meching Terran, which is honestly a pretty good map for it as well. Lots of high ground positions on this map. Very difficult to walk up into those choke points. So this is actually going to be pretty interesting to see, the classic mech versus bio TVT matchup. We'll see how Maru is able to navigate this, of course, and when he actually wants to strike with this massive amount of units that he's going to be able to accrue here. It's still going to be very difficult to be sure, but I'm actually kind of surprised that Ryung's actually taking the right-hand base. I would have thought that he would have kept to the high grounds going for mech, but yeah, it's kind of interesting.
It's also interesting that he's waited until now with these 2 Cloak Banshees to move in, and I like this move a lot. He knows that he's playing this slower composition in mech, and so he's going to cause some problems for Maru on Maru's side of the map. The one moment where Maru finally wants to move cross map and get some damage done. Now these are +1 Marines, so 3 of them, just barely don't get that Banshee there at the natural expansion. And now at the 3rd, did they finally kill it? Perhaps they did. At the 3rd, 2 more Marines coming in. They are going to try and shoo away this Banshee. So that 1-1 getting some value early on here for Maru as he forces a lift up on this 3rd CC.
Yeah, I kind of like this. It's a really random move out. There's no medevacs, of course, but it's something that maybe Ryung wasn't expecting. There's just enough units here. Wow, he's actually stimming in for this.
Whoa.
That's kind of a ballsy move as he tries to get a couple of the tanks and the cyclones, but then runs in to a couple more tank shots. I don't think Maru was maybe expecting that many tanks on the back line there, kind of losing a lot of units to try and get some sort of advantage on this low ground to continue delaying the 3rd, but that's just going to mean he loses a lot of the bio, and we'll now just have to let Ryung take this 3rd freely.
All right, scan coming in. That's the last Banshee going down right now for Ryung. I'm trying to think back to that fight. I don't know if that was a good enough trade there for Maru on paper, but you think about it, and Ryung, he had the third base get lifted. He's been a little bit delayed in the SCV production. This might be the kind of move where Maru's like, you know what? I'm happy to take a slightly inefficient army trade to snipe 1, maybe 2 tanks, and also get a handful of SCVs that are rallying down here. It was 6 or 7 in total that got taken down, as Maru's already setting up for his 4th base, and I guess he's just trying to snowball a little bit because, as you said, Mech is the premium composition. It is a little bit better here than Bio if it's able to get completely set up, but Maru just trying to throw a wrench into the works before that happens.
Yeah, you really have to be on top of the Mech player, just having drops going every which way, keep the pressure on. You can't just let them sit back and make their insane army comp because that is their win condition. They want just the massive bulldozer army to just be able to walk across the map and have it be totally impenetrable. So Maru is constantly going to be on the map from this point out, coming in yet again to this third base, trying to break it. Not many tanks on this low ground. They're over onto the left-hand side, and a lot of Vikings in the sky to try and kill off the medevacs, but that doesn't mean they're going to do anything against this Bio. So then the third forced to lift again with another 11 SCVs getting killed off in the process. Maru finding a grip on this game.
Yeah, there really isn't a lot of support for these siege tanks on the ground. It's almost a pure siege tank Viking composition coming in from Ryung. He's got 4 Marines in a bunker, and that's it.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of strange because the Vikings are also kind of going over to the left-hand side, maybe looking for a drop or something, scared that they might try to go into his new pocket base as well. But the units are just sitting over on the right. They're still here, and he's going to go in yet again, splitting off nicely to make sure the splash damage doesn't do enough. Comes in, gets a tank, runs back out. That tank's got to unsiege eventually unless we just target fire those Liberators. He's going to try to do so, and will get both of them. Will lose a decent number of the Bio units and also a couple medevacs, but kills off the Vikings anyways, and he's still got that tank there to force this third base away. 7 more SCVs as well. Ryung just can't find this third base position, and Maru keeps going ahead.
Yeah, importantly, Maru just keeps thinning out that siege tank count. Ryung is trying to build up to a critical mass, and he's just not getting the opportunity to do that because every time Maru stims in, Ryung is losing 2 or 3 tanks, and his tank count is just entirely reset. So he's not able to fully establish this base down here at the 5 o'clock expansion. Even though it hasn't been spectacularly cost efficient here for Maru, he's been able to make it work. And also with those Marines, those 2-2 Marines, stimming forward, taking down the Liberators, taking down the Vikings, that opens up the opportunity to finally come in with a drop. Up until now, it's been so risky.
Yeah, I love that calculation from Maru, realizing the weakness that he's made for Ryung. He's forced that weakness, and now he's going to go full-on into it. A massive drop coming into the natural here. So many medevacs, so many tanks as well is going to make it really difficult for Ryung to engage into this. SCV's getting murdered left and right as Maru is almost already up 100 supply at almost 11 minutes into the game. This is looking completely hopeless for Ryung at this point, trying to get anything into his main base. Tanks sieging, but getting killed off immediately. What hope does Ryung have at this point?
Maru's just a wrecking ball. He keeps throwing these groups of Bio in, and eventually they do get cleaned up, but at what cost there for Ryung? As Ryung is going to tap out. Our series is tied up 1-1. Maru was taking a 5th base by the very end of that one, whereas Ryung would reset down to 2 command centers. That was a really cool game, and what an awesome build coming in from Maru. We had 1 barracks, 3 CC, and 2 double engineering bay.
Just the mega greed.
Stim, combat shields, and I think even 1-1 before the first factory.
Yeah.
That was so cool.
Yeah, just totally greed, trying to get every corner cut, and it worked out incredibly for him. I love just the way that he's able to identify, again, similar to the last game, just knowing what he can get away with. And especially in those fights as well, like you're mentioning, sure, he was maybe not trading perfectly efficiently, but he was still limiting the tank count every single time. And that's what I think you said is the most important part, because if they can actually get their critical mass of tanks, it becomes so impossible to start denying these bases. But he tries to go as early as possible and just continue to limit it one at a time, and you just can't get anything set up as Ryung, and it's so difficult to actually defend. Maru just showing, yet again, a great understanding of the first game, even though he lost, but then also coming into a new matchup with a mech matchup and still knowing exactly what to do.
And I wonder now, as set number 3 as we played on Botanical, whether Ryung is going to go for an SCV scout, because to me, what Maru did in game number 2 is just him responding to Ryung's decision not to scout, both
Yeah.
in game 1 and in game 2. Ryung's like, you know what? I'm just going to do my own thing. I'm not going to adapt based on what my opponent's doing in the early game. I'll save that for the mid game or for the late game. And Maru, he might have gotten caught off guard by that in game number 1, where Ryung was a little bit more greedy, but Maru just kind of turned that on its head. He went for a super fast third command center. He boomed up his economy about as fast as you possibly can in a TVT. And I feel like if you're Ryung in this situation, you really want to check what Maru's doing, because if anybody in the world knows how to exploit your opponent not scouting, I feel like it's Maru. I mean, the range of builds that he's got dwarfs basically anybody.
Yeah. You can throw out basically anything. Like, you really shouldn't know what to expect versus him. I was actually kind of curious if we would see maybe a double proxy racks in this game of all games. It might be kind of interesting to throw in that mind game, but it doesn't seem to be the case. It will be a fast gas coming out from Ryung as well, though, so that might tend towards something here. I am not a Terran player, so I'm not going to pretend to know what that means, but it might mean something, but we'll see in a little bit.
Maybe he can get the Reaper out while still going for a really fast factory with this opening. That's what my mind jumps to. I've been off racing a little bit with random, but I don't think my Terran is good enough to analyze
You're
the gas
playing
first.
random.
Yeah.
Do you say raise at the beginning?
Oh no, if they ask me, I just say random.
Oh, you're the worst.
I'm one of those
person in the
guys,
world.
yeah.
You are the worst type
And
of
if I
person.
get if it's a ZVP, I'm doing the 12-pull drone pull.
No, you're not. I bet, dude. No, and then if it's what TVP, you're proxying double Barracks Marauder or something because they put their pile on the low ground. Is that what you're doing?
I actually had Scyther, the Australian Terran, coaching me a little bit, and I wasn't proxying the first couple of barracks. I was proxying barracks up going up to 8 there, which kind of put us players off guard because they said in the hallucination scout, and they're like, "Oh, you're going for a third CC. You only got like what 3-4 barracks in the main base, and then
so
no,
ratty.
it's actually 7 racks.
That's the
SCV
most
pull. I'm
disgusting
coming,
thing I've
baby.
ever heard.
I mean, it's a random player. You got to do the random thing, right?
Dude, I hate random players, man. God, you are the worst. I can't believe you gave me this information.
I'm still playing Protoss on the Korean server, but you know, you ladder the Korean server. If you play it super late in the day, it kind of gets dead, right?
It's very, and then there's like
so
those,
I ran them on NA.
Yeah,
I let them suffer.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sorry to disappoint you.
No, there's like a couple of these just random unranked random players
I'm not
on Korea.
unranked. Yeah.
No, but they're unranked random players. There's like 3 or 4 of them that I always run into after like 7 o'clock or something at night. You have to now bring your random against them and start to make them feel the pain as well. You got to give it back to them a little bit. All right, this is my mission for you, Steve. Please.
Maybe. All right, SCV and Reaper again coming here into the natural expansion of Ryung. Actually catching Ryung a little bit off guard, as Maru's Reaper is going to have considerably more HP at the end of this exchange, so Ryung might potentially have to wait until that Reaper heals, or at least until an SCV can come down and assist it, because he's going for the reactor. He actually doesn't have the boots on the ground to shoot this Reaper out of his natural expansion. Oh, what a cheeky move coming in again from Maru. Yeah, you saw that.
That was sick.
Oh, second Reaper actually coming in here for Maru. This command center is getting delayed so significantly, actually. Maru just threw down his 3rd CC.
I'm sorry.
No, it was a very cool move. I felt like I was watching Olympics breakdancing there for a moment, but
I'm sorry. I don't know why that was so funny to me. But you know, the CC is so insanely delayed. It's actually ridiculous. Like, this is such a better opener from Maru compared to the first time this happened. And like, yeah, like you said, the 3rd CC is already halfway done when the natural of Ryung is almost halfway done. Like, actually insane.
I think Ryung might have even had to drop the extra supply down on the depot because he was planning on using the CC for the supply.
That's insane. Dude, Maru is so far ahead from the smallest little engagement. That's what he was trying to do in that first game. Like, we saw it at the first game, being like, well, he tried. He didn't really get anything. Maybe it's, you know, it could be doing something cool. And now we saw like the actual maximum value, I feel like, of that move. Just bring in an SCV, gets the little jump, and now the CC is so delayed.
Even in game 1, I thought it was a pretty good move. It still delayed the command center by like 7 or 8 seconds, which it doesn't sound like a lot because you don't have a lot of workers to saturate it, but that means every single SCV coming out of that base is 7 or 8 seconds late. You know, it's a tempo move. So I like that a lot there for Maru in game 1, but yeah, really flexing the muscle with that movement here in game number 3, getting a lot of economic damage done. As far as the build orders go, We already have the third CC done here for
insane.
Maru. I think he's actually morphing the orbital and the main base on that third CC the same time Ryung is morphing the orbital to natural. It's just crazy.
Yeah, absolutely ridiculous. And now he sees that finish too. He's like, God damn it, what the hell is happening in this game? But he gets four Hellions, I should say, into the mineral line anyways. Tries to target down some SCVs, only gets 3. It's all right. It's gonna even up the SCV count a little bit for now, but Maru has got 3 CCs already done. He's going to be able to make so many more at this point, and Ryung realizing what position he's in, he's got to just be like, all right, I got to put this down on spot. Like, I got to find a way back into this game somehow, because Maru's about to eclipse him in economy so quickly.
It was also a really small thing Maru did, but I love the decision not to pull any of those SCVs from the 4 Hellions drop in the main base, because it might be intuitive when you get Hellions in your main base, oh, you better run away with those workers, but you definitely don't want to line them up. So Maru's just like, all right, take your best shot. Ryung only getting 3 SCVs as a result, and Maru's sitting quite happy here, I think, on what should soon be 3 bases. He's getting up to the full 2-base saturation now, taking up into a second starport, so going to be a really air-focused TBT game.
That is very interesting. Yeah, I'm curious what this actually is going to be. It's just going to be massive Viking, or is it like... He's going to put a tech lab on there to try to get a couple more Ravens out to continue with the air dominance? Like... Yeah, this is going to be quite interesting. The 4 Hellions even find the SCV and run right back out. That's very nice. We'll just continue with Mass Viking as well in the air. I would love to see how this actually pans out for Maru, because this is going to be a much different look to the early game compared to what we saw in the first 2 games.
It's a really good approach when you play these early Siege Tank compositions here as Maru. In fact, in some of the TBTs that I've casted recently, you even see players throw down a 3rd or even a 4th starport, because the Vikings, especially now with the patch, they're 25 minerals cheaper.
That's true.
They're
I actually forgot about
they're
that.
very good even when they land at dealing with a lot of threats, and so much of tank versus tank is just about who has air superiority in terms of vision, so you're not dropping scans all the time.
That's a very good point. I actually totally forgot that the Vikings were changed at all. So yeah, that's actually really interesting to see what type of style that this actually is led to. And he's even going to go and follow it up with Liberators and still go into Stim as well. I was curious if he was going to full-on go into Mech with that, but it's still going to be Bio to follow it up, just with a lot of air superiority to start it off, just to make sure that he can't get out-positioned or anything with the extra vision. So he's going to always have that in his pocket, basically. Going to try to chase these units across the map here to try and kill these off, but there is a drop coming in the back end as well. Maru's going to have to be able to pay attention to that at the same time. We'll see if he's ready. Does pull the SCV, so a few do get killed off right away, but there's not really much here to defend from Maru. Needs to bring the Liberators to defend. That's a bit awkward.
How often do you see Liberators defending a simless Marine drop here? So I feel like I'm checking one off the bingo card. Maru now pushing into the 3rd base interference matrix on 2 of these siege tanks. They are both able to unsiege, but Ryung, despite that, is going to have to disengage from this position. And this actually might be enough Vikings just to take the command center out. I didn't even consider this when he pushed into the base. 1 SCV gets there to try and repair. It is not in time.
That is brutal, dude. Riong cannot find anything in this game. Just every single thing is going wrong for him right now. Loses the medevac over on the other side of the map as well. And now the Liberators, with this massive air advantage, will just start being able to kill off these tanks one by one, just inching them forward. There's really nothing to actually combat this. I think it's like a couple more. It's 11 Marines in total. Where are they? I feel like I barely see any of them. There are actually some over here, some over on the left side as well. They're totally segmented, unable to get under these Liberators since there's tanks also on the low ground behind them. Maru's just going to be able to creep this forward slowly, and I feel like just choke Ryung out.
Yeah, these units just work so well in tandem with each other. SCV pull coming in as the Marine stem forward. All right, 3 disables going down, 2 on the siege tanks, 1 on the Liberator, actually a 3rd siege tank even disabled here. So Ryung, he's trying. This might be his last breath as he tries to push through. Maru now landing the Vikings. The auto turrets are dissipating, and Ryung at least is able to hold the natural, but at the cost of 23 SCVs. And Maru is still happily mining on 3 bases, as a wonderful observer Mapu pointing out. A massive income disparity in the advantage of our Blue Terran.
Yeah, that is a hold, but a big asterisk on the side there. It's going to be really difficult for Ryung to find anything from this. He's basically just going to go across the map, I feel like, with whatever he's got, because there's not really anything else going for him. 29 SCVs back at home. You can't make a macro game out of that. A couple of Ravens even getting caught up by the Vikings. Thankfully, doesn't actually lose them there. Nice micro, nice awareness. But now we're just sending it across with whatever we have. The army is quite large. Maru's only sitting at 43 compared to the 68, and there's actually a 1-1 upgrade lead for Ryung as well. So this is his only moment, and there's actually a slight chance that he does make this work.
Yeah, this is Ryung's time. He needs to try and get an angle of attack here, but Maru's already entrenched himself at the junction between the natural expansion and the third. So Ryung, he sees that. He pivots down over here. He's going to attack in from the south instead. No siege tanks to protect that, but Maru, he spots it, and he picks off a couple of these starport units of Ryung as well. Only 2 medevacs in total right now for Ryung. As some SMEs get pulled, they're going to be the meat shield right now for these siege tanks. Marines also coming in here on the top side as the Vikings. Looks like Maru considering dropping them on those siege tanks, but instead just retreating. Liberator getting some work done. Siege tank getting himself deployed right now to protect it. And I think Ryung, he's running out of steam on this push.
Yes, he is running out of steam and has lost everything. Only a few tanks left, a couple Marines coming in on the rebound, and a medevac to join them. He had no medevacs during that entire fight either, so all of those Marines just eating the tank shots and everything. No hope whatsoever. Maru comes back after losing the first game and solidifies it 2-1.
Yeah, wow, what a game. Number 2 and 3 coming in from Maru, but also Ryung just really impressing me with his TVT chops. That was a very close series from start to finish, and Maru really had to pull out some trickery both in game number 2 and game number 3, some subterfuge with the build orders, with the tactics to try and get an upper hand, because Ryung, it felt like, especially based on game number 1, if he could just lock in the macro and start playing his game, he was nigh unstoppable.
Yeah, man, it really was a masterclass of TVT, I feel like. You can tell that both of them are at the peak of what TVT knowledge even is. They both really understand the matchup really well, all the little little quirks about how the builds work and everything. So really nice to see. Maru will be joining Reynor in the upper bracket, the winner match, whatever you want to call it, to see who will become the first one out of the group into the playoffs. It will be another non-Protoss state. Look at that. They do exist.
Thank goodness. You know I love me some Protoss, but with Max Pax, Zaun, Classic Trigger, and then Hero getting in first as the first 5 players. And I welcome another Terran or another Zerg joining us, or I should say the first Terran potentially joining us.
That's also true.
In the playoffs, as we are yet to have any. Kure and Beyond, they both came very close there, 3rd place in Group B and 3rd place in Group C, but so far, just 1 Zerg and no Terrans here representing the non-Protoss races in the RSL.
Yep, would love to see them joining, but I would also love to see some more pro gamers signing up for our LCQ, which is happening in a couple of weeks, actually about a month or so. We have our LCQ, but the signups do end next week as well on the 21st of November, so please be sure to sign up. This is the final way to get into our offline finals. The last player to play on our final day on Sunday will be from the LCQ, so please sign up if you were in the RSL qualifiers for any of the events or in the main events and did not make it into the offline finals. That's your chance, so please sign up. We would love to see more players coming on in.
Yeah, and that LCQ, it's not something that's happening online. That's going to be there on day number 1 of the finals. It's going to be a good old-fashioned LAN with a ton of players. I was going to say Protoss players, but that's also true.
It's also going to be a ton of Protoss players.
A ton of players there in the finals fighting for that final spot, so we hope you join us. Fellas, we're going to take a short break. When we get back, the winners match here in Group D. We'll see you in a minute. Welcome back, everybody. It's State and Sturgeon on the mic as we go to the winners match here in Group D, about to send one of the last players into the RSL playoffs. Is it going to be Reynor? Is it going to be Maru? We're about to find out.
This is going to be peak StarCraft 2, guys. It doesn't get any better than this. We also don't see too many ZVTs in the RSL these days, so yeah, I enjoy every one of these, especially when the players are as good as these two. We haven't seen Maru in this matchup for a while, so I kind of wonder how he's playing the matchup right now. I think the last time I saw him play it was when the Cyclone patch was kind of the thing that everyone was using. So things may have changed. I'm excited to find out.
Yeah, I think this might actually be the first ZVT that I am casting in the RSL so
Really?
far this season. I'm thinking back to... Did we have any of them in Group A or Group B that
No.
I personally casted? I know Solar was there, but
I
I
don't
don't
think we had any because Solar and Bunny were in the same group, but they didn't play.
Yeah, Solar just played a bunch of Protoss players.
Right, yeah.
Unfortunately for him, and then in Group E, we just had, Classic, Here, Creator, and Trigger. So, yeah, going to be a first for me. I'm glad that I get to cast at least one, because who knows how many more we're going to have in the playoffs of RSL Season 3, as the map pool is coming in. Celestial Enclave, Tokamak, and Winter Madness here are going to be the 3 sets for Reynor versus Maru. And Reynor versus Maru feels like it very well could be an RSL Finals, Sturgeon.
Yeah, that's how good these two are, man. Both top players. I'm really curious how Reynor's playing ZVT right now. We saw Shin yesterday bring out a whole different range of styles. He was playing, Lingbane into Fast Ultra. He was playing Lurker builds. He brought out a 2-base Muta build. He brought out a whole variety of stuff, so I'm wondering how Reynor likes to play this matchup right now. One thing we can say is the matchup has kind of shifted back towards more Baneling styles after they got that HP buff again. So I'm expecting something with Banelings, but apart from that, who knows?
Yeah, getting plus 5 HP certainly does help those Banelings a lot versus Stim Bio. And additionally, the Spire change is pretty significant. Even though it might not seem like it, it's minus 50 minerals, minus 50 gas, and it builds a little bit faster. So in total, you might be getting your mutas out 8-9 seconds faster than you would before, and that means that a lot of timings that potentially could have made those mutas, or those mutalisks would have been very vulnerable to, where you're just waiting for them to finish to get them in time to hold on. Now they might actually be done. So I wonder if we will see any fast Spire play coming in from our Italian Zerg.
Yeah, no, it being 50 less gas also means you can, take your gas later than you would normally do, so you can prioritize your mineral income. The change seems small, but it can actually really speed up those Muta builds and get them onto the map more quickly, as you said. Right now, we're looking at some pretty standard openings here, as we have Reynor in the bottom left and Maru in the top right here on Celestial Enclave.
Yeah, Reynor's going for a hatch and a pool here in the bottom left side. No gas just yet, as it looks like he's actually going to be going for the in-base, little pocket expansion here. So a 2.5 base build coming in here from Reynor, because there's only
gas.
Yeah, there's only 5 minerals and only 1 gas there. That expansion is... I guess you can just defend this with queens and structures and slow lings, right?
Yeah, you can for sure. Eventually, you're probably going to need speedlings or roaches if you decide to go in for a roach build after this. But very cool to see how Reynor's play. And this is a map-specific build. You can't do this build on any other map. You can only do it because you have this pocket base hidden at the back on Celestial Enclave. And right now, Maru checking this third base. Where is it? But it's in the pocket. The Reaper, of course, is nimble enough to jump up there and go and scout that out, so I'll have to see if Maru is able to get that information or not.
Yeah, and if we play with no gas for a long time here, as it looks like we might, as Reynor is going to be dealing with this Reaper. Oh, actually able to get that one drone. Usually you don't see the early drone go down there, but with a grenade, Maru was able to push into a spot where Reynor could not throw down a Spore Crawler because it would have been blocked by the minerals. Some nice early damage coming in from Maru.
Yeah, we often see, a ling or two go down. That's not the end of the world, but losing a drone can feel quite bad. On the flip side, he's gone for a 3 quick hatches, so he'll be able to make up that economic deficit. And Maru actually going to mineral walk through this little patch here. That is one thing that you can do, which is very cool. And you will get confirmation that it's a pocket base. Yeah,
and Maru himself is also going for the pocket expansion on his side of the map, so... Really fast 3cc build coming in, as this actually looks like Maru versus Ryung from earlier, where we had 3 barracks and 2 engineering bays before factory behind 3 command centers. Here we go. I told Gemini it felt like a TVZ build. Here we got it again.
It's really nice as a Terran to be able to take your third CC on site, like on the base. You basically never get to that. Another drone going down to this Reaper. What a menace this has been so far. It's been super tricky here, trying to avoid these Zerglings. He would love to get out, but it will go down eventually. But he did his job. He scouted the third. He got 2 drones. That's pretty much the dream come true.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome there from Maru. And the drone kills, it's not like he lucked into them at all. The first grenade, it pushed the drone to a spot where it couldn't throw down the Spore Crawler. And then the Reaper, the second time around, was body blocking the drone. So the drone could not throw down a Spore. Oh, really good early game control here by Maru. Just trying to eke back some of that economic advantage as Reynor's. He's got a lot of money flowing in. The first gas is just now online. +1 speed. Zergling speed. Oh, can you imagine there's +2 speed?
Zergling speed? Start zooming around the map. They should add that to the game. Adrenal glands. Why don't adrenal glands make Zerglings faster? Think about it. It makes sense.
No, thank you, Sturgeon. No, thank you.
It makes sense. You know what? You're onto something there, State. We'll have to bring that up with Blizzard. But yeah, Reynor's been droning like a madman. He's up to 50 versus the 38 of Maru right now. Obviously, mules do help, you know, bring that back to more even. He's making lings right now to deal with this move out from Maru. He's also trying to take down the rocks. I don't think Maru's going to commit here. He's just trying to force a few lings out from Reynor and will probably back off because it's very, you know, scary to commit in here once Zergling speed finishes.
Yeah, I imagine if there is going to be a commitment, it might happen with a follow-up push, although these Marines, they are stutter stepping towards that hatchery. Without creep, these queens can't really get into the action that easily, and Maru might actually be able to use, I was going to say, if he chooses to go down to the bottom side, he might be able to use the minerals as a part of his shield, but
yeah, but
they're kind of low range, right? It'd be hard to take down the hatchery in that time.
Indeed, and he's going to lose all these Marines. I mean, Zergling speed is finished now, so these Marines are essentially donated here. That's a big win for Reynor right there.
Yeah, certainly a huge one. For Maru, I thought he might just push back after seeing the hatchery and wait for 1-1 and stim to be done, as they were maybe 20, 30 seconds away, but instead he tries his luck. Unfortunately for him, Reynor just had enough lings on the map to clean that up before any of those upgrades finish here for Maru.
Yeah, maybe the plan was to be there as the 4th base wants to go down and try and cancel it before he gets too much HP on it. But we did see it was already over halfway done, so it's able to survive, you know, just barely, and he does lose all the lings on the back of it. We see an infestation pit coming down now at 550 or so. This is about as early as you can get it. 1-1 on the way as well for lings. This is looking like an ultra build right now.
Oh, I love it. One of my favorite ZVT builds. Actually, I will say it is my favorite ZVT build ever.
Are you going to commit to that?
Yeah, I mean, Shin was busting this out. I want to say, oh God, what event was it where Shin was the first player to really just use this a ton? And I just fell in love with this opening so much. We'll see if the Hive tech comes in the moment this infestation pit is done. Yep, there's the Hive and a Baneling Nest and another hatchery here for Reynor, who's going to have a ton of larvae for the Ling accompaniment to the Ultras. And ideally, Ultra Armor should be finishing around the same time as +2 Carapace here for Reynor. And despite the fact that Maru went for really fast double engineering bays, those Ultras are still going to be really hard to deal with these Marines.
Yeah, I love how fast this Hive is coming out here for Reynor. As long as he can survive with the Ling Bane in the mid game, he's going to have a really strong timing once those Ultras finish, as well as the upgrades, as you mentioned. These Marines got to be a little bit careful. Okay, he does stim. You don't want to lose any of these. If you can, he's going to try and pressure as much as possible with these 2 medevacs.
Yeah, Scan comes in, does spot the infestation pit. Is actually, where's that Hive going down? It must be the natural expansion, I guess, because, yeah, we don't have that in the main base. About 75% complete now. Baneling speed +2 Carapace getting started here for Reynor, as well as +2 melee attack. There's a ton more lings are in production. Reynor doing this on a relatively low drone count, just now starting 7 more, so he will be going up into the mid-70s in a moment. But until now, just been really focused on staying safe because he's been so greedy tech-wise.
Absolutely. He knows his Ultras are on the way, and as long as he survives until those come out, he should be in a good position. A few different squads of Terran units moving out, and the Widow Mines are starting to burrow. Reynor has to be very careful here not to run a pack of lings into those. He will need some detection as well, a couple of Overseers. He's actually able to drag the Terran army home, though, which I think is great for him. Maru doesn't want those lings to run by and, you know, dart into the natural base there and start killing SCV, so he's buying himself time to get his Hive tech out.
Yeah, no Ultralisk Cavern thrown down just yet. Reynor is looking at this army on the board, and he's like, you know what? I can't wait until Ultras. I think I need some more Banelings right now and some additional upgrades. 2 more gases getting taken here by Reynor as he's trying to find out exactly where Maru has his army, and are those Links going to head into a Widow Mine? I watch the minimap and see exactly what that is. Is the Marines also cleaning this up? Yeah, it looks like a big pack of Lings went down to that Widow Mine. So you called it, Sturgeon. It's a little bit of a dangerous game. Trying to run around with all these Lings. And now Maru finally collapsing at this junction between the natural and the third base here for Maru at the 6 o'clock. Reynor trying to defuse all these mines so we can get some counter damage in. And now the Lings and Banelings, they're not all done just yet. He's going to be running in. The Banelings going to try and find the connections here onto the Marines. They do have the assistance of the creep, and so many of these Marines are in the red, but the Marauders standing strong there on their front lines. I don't know if Reynor's will be able to break through and stabilize here.
This push is absolutely insane from Maru, hitting so hard before those Vipers come out and any other Hive Tech, which Reynor may have wanted to go for. The Marines do have to pick up in the end, but I think they've already done a lot of damage here. Maru's up to 4 bases. He's on 70 workers. He's taken great trades so far. And I think Reynor's been too pressured to really go for his tech. He's tried to make Vipers to hold this push. I mean, eventually, you're not going to stay on Lingbane the whole game, right? Like, eventually, you're going to add something here. I like that Reynor's being active with different sets of Lings on the map, though, trying to pick off reinforcements, look for an opportunity to backstab. This Widow Mine will get picked off. These Marines are on creep. Okay, but they just get picked up in time there.
Yeah, and I'm watching that production tab, just holding my breath, waiting for Reynor to throw down the Ultralisk Cavern. It's all hands on deck, trying to just hold on right now. 2-2 is finally done here for the Italian Zerg, and that's going to go a long way towards at least equalizing the upgrades here with Maru, and now he feels safe enough to throw down the Ultralisk Cavern, but still no 3-3 just yet. Reynor knows he needs to save that gas for the Ultras, potentially for some more Banelings. I say that actually, he's starting +3 melee, so Reynor maybe feeling a little bit confident, but Maru's coming in for another blow.
Yeah, this Terran army is huge right now. Nice connections with the Banelings on both sides, actually. Reynor with some good engagements here. This is what he needs to buy. Oh, he even gets a medevac with a bit of friendly fire from that Widow Mine. That is very nice, but the creep has been really pushed back all throughout the map right now.
Yeah, for a second I was wondering if Maru was going to make Reynor pay for committing even more resources into upgrades here, but Reynor with just 2 beautiful engagements, one all the way down to the bottom right at that expansion, then another one in front of the natural expansion and the third. Able to hold on there as the Ultralisk Cavern is done. Reynor not queuing them up just yet. Instead, just trying to hold on the front. These Banelings getting really deep. Those Marines heavily in the red. Widow Mine actually killing a couple of them.
Yeah, I like that he sent it in just small waves of Banelings to set off the mines, try and get connections on the Marines as they're on creep. And now he sends in the real force that he has once the mines have been detonated here. Once again, Maru forced to pick up. He does have enough medevacs to pick up everything, even the reinforcements. So that is very nice. And now Reynor's starting to get to where he wants to be in this game. He's on 80 drones. He has Ultras coming out as well as their upgrades. Oh, okay. Nice micro there at the end. Doesn't lose too many to the second Widow Mine. But this push is not stopping anytime soon, State. Maru is really going for it here.
All right, another engagement coming in from Reynor. He's trying to stop. There's so many mines here, though. Great spread from Reynor coming in. The Ling's trying to find enough of a connection, but these are 3-3 Marines and Marauders pushing in, so the Ling's not doing all that much damage. So many of these medevacs very deep in the red, but it seems like there is just enough healing for Maru to get closer and closer to this expansion. Finally, the first Ultra is done, but no +3 armor, no Ultra armor just yet, and these are +3 Marauders, so much damage getting done on them.
Yeah, the Ultras finally come out, but the first one dies without having any impact, basically. Another one there frantically being transfused will just barely stay alive. But this is too much Terran right now, I feel like. Maru is powering through. He's going to target this hatchery down if he's able to. He does get it. Another Ultra is going to go down to the Widow Mine. And Maru in complete control here on game number 1.
Yeah, Reynor talking to himself a little bit. You can see there on camera as losing that base. Just a critical moment in the defense. I don't know if he's going to be able to push Maru out of this position as the bio. It might be deep in the red, but there's just no way for Reynor to really get a finishing blow on it, and the cost efficiency just speaks for itself. Plus 7,000 resources in the advantage of Maru. Oh, what a game number 1 between these two. Absolutely delivering, and honestly, great play by Maru, because a lot of the strength of this kind of Ultra style is getting them on the board extremely quickly.
Right.
Getting that Ultra armor especially done before 3-3 is finished, sometimes around the same time that 2-2 is getting wrapped up if Terran delays the upgrades a little bit there in the engineering base. But Maru put on so much pressure that Reynor never felt safe, despite the fast time. He never felt safe enough to go into that super quick Ultralisk Cavern. He never felt safe enough to get in those critical techs, like the +3 upgrades super quickly.
Right.
And as a result, when the Ultralisks finally came out, they didn't have armor, and additionally, the Marauders were already +3, so they just melted.
Yeah, they went down right away, and I want to go back to like the beginning builds of this game, which I think lined up really well for Maru. Both players went for 3 very quick bases, but if you're taking your third pretty soon after the Zerg as the Terran, especially on site, I think that's really good for you. We always talk about Zerg wanting to be up 1 base or even 2 bases in this matchup, so I think the builds lined up really nicely here for Maru, and he just had some insanely strong pushes at times that Reynor wasn't quite ready for. Like you say, he wasn't able to get those ultras out with the upgrades, and Maru's macro machine was just churning, going crazy. He had so many units so quickly.
I felt like the only real hiccup in that game for Maru was when the initial pack of Marines got cleaned up by a ton of Lings, but he just wasn't anticipating Reynor having quite so much, and there was such an economic engine behind it that he didn't really mind it too much. It might have delayed the inevitable pressure coming in from Maru, but not significantly enough that it would have allowed Reynor to get a lot of breathing rooms in terms of macro of his own.
Yeah, very interesting. Like we were saying, that's kind of a map-specific thing. I don't think we'll see that again in this series. You can't really take a quick third base before speed as a Zerg, and you can't take your third CC on site against the Zerg as a Terran because they can just flood it with Zerglings or do whatever, right? You just can't build it there. So I think the rest of the games look pretty different, but that was a very cool kind of macro-based opener from both players.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why I'm super excited for this new map pool, not just in RSL, but also now in the ladder pool on the Blizzard client too for StarCraft 2. Because
so nice, man.
It means you get some unique games like this one, especially with a worker-only path. It really mixes things up. But for game number 2, we're going to go to Tokamak here. So a little bit more tried and true, a little bit more standard for both of our players, as we're going to see if Maru can win one more game and go to the playoffs as the first Terran in the RSL playoffs for Season 3, or if Reynor's going to fight back and force a Game 3. I'm excited.
Well, I would love to see a Game 3 between these guys, as most of us would, I'm sure. And yeah, I'd also like to see a non-Protoss go through. Regardless of who it is, I think it's going to be hyped to have these guys in the playoff bracket. So we'll have to see who is able to come out on top. Map number 2, as you said, is going to be on Tokamak. We have Reynor here as the blue Zerg in the bottom left, and Maru as the red Terran in the top right.
All right, what kind of builds do our players have in store for us? I agree with you. I doubt we're going to see anything like a gasless 3-hatch opening come in from Reynor here on Tokamak LE, as it's quite the distance for those queens to walk to either the triangle third or that third base at the 6 o'clock position. And as far as Maru goes, we might see more or less the same build, except with the command center on the high ground, right?
Right. Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. It's obviously a very strong macro Terran build. Like you say, you even used it in the other matchup, TVT as well, something similar. Got different towards the mid game. But as we see for Reynor, it's just your standard hatch gas pool. And on the back of this, Maru will be going for a Reaper expand, most likely.
Yep, that Reaper getting started right now here for Maru. This will likely be throwing down that command center on the low ground. Interesting that Maru didn't go for the low ground wall in, as it seems like a lot of these players, even though be unpopularized it a couple of years ago, and it was all the rage in TVZ for a long time, especially out here in Korea, they've been walking it back a little bit. I feel like we're not seeing that opening build order placement deployed quite as much as we do these days.
Yeah, I think it lends itself well to the 2 racks and 3 racks Reaper builds that were really popular a while back. And you still see them sometimes. I think we saw Björn with a 2 racks Reaper build yesterday against Shin. Not this game. There is going to be a CC just going down on the low ground. No wall of the natural, you say. This SCV is going to see... Oh, he's actually sent out 2 drones. So to guarantee that his third base cannot be blocked by the Reaper and SCV combination.
That's a really smart move, actually. I feel like I rarely, if ever, see something like that come in from a Zerg. That's something Dark would do. Dark's always been one of these players that is very tricky with the drone movement when it comes to placing hatcheries.
Is he going to get another drone in this game? Okay, he does have the space to actually make a building, a structure there, so he's able to save the drone. No Ling's gone down and the Queen is out, so everything will survive this game for Reynor. That's one little hiccup in the last game as well, right?
Oh, yeah.
Two drones going down to the Reaper can have a big effect in a snowball fashion. And there is the third CC in the natural.
Yeah, third command center coming online here for Maru. This time, a little bit different from game number 1. He's not going for the mass barracks opening at the very start. He's not getting the really quick double engineering bay. Instead, going for the factory play as we're waiting to see what it's going to be. It's going to be a second factory from Maru on the back of the 3cc.
Ooh.
What on earth is this?
Wow, we may have some blue flames on the way.
Yeah.
He could go for the cyclones, but I feel like that's fallen out of fashion somewhat. We'll have to see exactly what he wants to do there. He's going to need an add-on there at some point. Yeah, I'm very curious what he wants to do with this, how he's going to use these units. Reynor's making a lot of queens, though. He's got his Zerglian speed on the way. That's what you need to deal with this initially before the Hellion number gets too crazy. And there is a tech lab there as well.
Yeah, could this be a 3cc Hellbat Marauder push? Because I'm a little bit confused by the placement of this tech lab. If it was closer to this factory, I would think that he would just switch into it straight away. It's a little curious, right?
Yeah, I think you may be right there. If we saw him switch the tech lab
there's
onto
the Marine.
And just the Marine. Okay, interesting here.
Huh. Yeah, it's an interesting choice. I guess this is just for the two blue flames. And it also makes sense. He got drilling claws in the last game against the Ling Heavy style here of Reynor. You can go into the blue flame Hellions to get early map control. You just get your stim pack there with the tech lab on the barracks and tech up normally and bio-wise. But then when you pivot into Widow Mines, you've got basically 3 factories worth of production, and you have room to get drilling claws on that tech lab.
Yeah, I'm guessing he's going to switch that onto the factory here once he has enough. Oh, no, he's going to go stim here. Okay, this is... I'm curious why he got the tech lab so early, though.
Yeah.
He got it quite early and didn't put it to any use for a while. But, okay, it is going to be blue flame into stim, probably a bio follow-up behind this. Very cool build coming out from Maru. And he's hiding the Hellions there on the ramp. He doesn't want to show these to Reynor, who has that Overlord perched outside the natural.
Double engineering bay now getting thrown down by Maru. On Reynor's side of the map, his lair about halfway done. Baneling Nest also about halfway done. Is Reynor's just droning happily along. A couple more lings getting made right now for safety, as I wonder if he caught wind of exactly what's going on just yet. A couple more drones are queued up right now by our Zerg. He's moving into a natural expansion, which looks very empty.
Yeah, he did see a number of Hellions move out. This might look like the normal number of Hellions, you know, in a standard macro game, but there's so many more joining up here with them, State. You got to be ready for this. I mean, you need like a wall or some Banelings or some Roaches or something. This could be huge economic damage if he's able to get into this natural bay, the third base, sorry, which he's going to go for. The drones evacuate, but they're all in a line. If he can catch that, there could be so many going down. Takes out the Lings first, that makes sense. The drone spear, though, coming out from Reynor is pretty good, minimalizing the losses, but a lot of them going down. 9 already, but a lot of the Hellions fall in here. Will they be able to get any more?
I think they might. Oh, that evolution chamber is so clutch right here on the left side of this expansion. Hellions have to work their way behind the minerals. One more drone going down here in the mineral patches. The Queens are scrambling, trying to get some more economic damage done. And we do have a couple more Hellions in production, at least one more right now. So I'm wondering where this is going to go for Maru. He did get a lot of economic damage done, but I think if you go for 2 factories and blue flames like this, you're hoping to get maybe just a little bit more in terms of drone damage.
Yeah, he did get 11, which I think is completely acceptable. It's not like a failed attack, but it's not the kind of 20 or so that would end the game, potentially. But he will be going for a strong macro-based follow-up behind this. Going into bio now, using those factories to produce mines 3 at a time. He could have a really strong push here in the mid-game once his upgrades finish.
Yeah, these Widow Mines are going to be clutch in terms of splash damage. Reynor's been loving the super Ling-heavy compositions. Very larva-intensive, and we already saw in game number 1 how just a couple of stray Widow Mines scattered across the map against a player who is as proactive in the map control department as Reynor is, can play into Maru's advantage. So already with Widow Mines coming out 3 at a time and Drilling Claws getting researched, this could absolutely go Maru's way.
Yeah, and Reynor's going to go into Roaches behind this, which will deal with the Hellions very well, obviously. The problem is they won't deal with an upgraded Bio Ball once they get there, you know, 1-1, 2-2, and eventually 3-3. He will be adding in those Infestors, though, going towards the Hive. Infestors can make or break this matchup. If you can get a big fungal on the Bio Ball, suddenly the Roaches with Bios can just take everything out.
Yeah, the Roaches feel like a unit that you use to stabilize yourself at the mid-game to get to that Ultralisk Cavern a little bit faster. I think it's one of the reasons why that Ultra Cavern was a little bit later in game number 1, is if you're trying to rely just on Lings and Banelings, oh, it's really scary. Because if you just don't get the connections on the Banelings, suddenly the game is over. Or if the Widow Mines get very good connections, it's over. And it's also very larva-intensive. So Reynor, at least until 2-2 is done here for Maru, should have a little bit more of a formidable army here on the ground.
This is very cool by Reynor as well. We see him getting +1 melee and +1 range. So both the Roaches and the Lings will have the upgrades. Big Fungal on the bio. He's able to catch all these units and take them out. The Widowmine goes off on just a couple Zerg units there, so good. Okay, you'd like to keep those Banelings alive, but still a good cleanup by Reynor. Yeah. And he's up to 86 drone estate.
He is, but for how long? Okay. I didn't catch that the Roaches and Lings were getting over to the Triangle expansion quite so quickly, but yeah, Reynor is going to be there in time. Maru will not push that drone count below 86 as we have the Ultralisk Cavern now coming down. And I feel like this is a much more comfortable position going into the Ultras in game number 2 than it was in game number 1 here for Reynor, but unfortunately, +1 Carapace is only just now beginning.
Yeah, indeed. He did go for the +1 melee and missile upgrade like we talked about. And curiously, he went for Neural Parasite here. This makes me wonder if he wasn't sure about the bio transition before that attack, and if he thought this was maybe a mech follow-up, because what are you going to neural in this army exactly? I'm not exactly sure. Maybe he thought this was going to be mech. I'm not sure about that. Here comes a big Widowmine drop. 2 in this base, 2 going to go to another base. Big connections there.
Yeah, the neural is certainly an interesting choice. I think you might be right about the not being sure whether it's going to be mech or bio, because it is a 2-factory opening when you go for those Hellions. Right. And one of the best mech Terrans in the world is Maru.
It's kind of the natural follow-up to a Blue Flame build as well, right? Like you already have the infrastructure to start making your mech units. It kind of makes sense, but this is a very tricky build coming out from Maru, who's still harassing, getting damage done while his 4th base goes up at home.
Overlord speed now also coming in for Reynor. We know he loves to mix in his drops. I wonder if we're going to see any of those later on in this game. For now, he's just been trying to secure a 5th base. Finally, it is coming online here in the bottom right as Reynor is nearing max. +1 Carapace. Almost completed now as Maru's going to be trying to get some damage done with these Widowmines. He hasn't really been able to find too many openings here in the mid-game ever since that Blue Flame Hellion run by. Got, what, 11 drone duns in total? I feel like the defense for Reynor has just been ironclad.
Absolutely, and this can be one of the weaknesses of going for unit comp without Hydras or Mutalisks. You have not much that shoots the Medivacs, right? You only have Queens and Spores, so you're able to fly around, do these Widowmine drops. I really like this from Maru. He's actually preserved some of his Hellions, which are now Hellbats, joining in with this push that he's trying to make happen. As he pushes onto creep here, all the mines start to siege. The Ultras lead the charge. They'll be able to tank some of these mine shots pretty well. He has the Overlord speed on the Overseers, as you said, so they will be able to detect very well flying in and out here, but he doesn't want to commit off creep.
All right, Ultra Armor nearly completed right now as the Marauders are going to be leading the charge here against the Zerg. Maru would love to take down this 5th base. There isn't another hatchery in production right now for Reynor, so a lot is hanging on the balance. And whether or not he can defend this base, look at the top left, Maru taking another expansion, so he is slowly but surely taking his side of the map. And for Reynor, he's trying to set up a big flank with these Roaches. Unfortunately, the Widowmines not only are going to do some damage to that flank, but also spot it here. So Maru, he's retreating, he's stimming forward on the backside, while also getting some really good kiting in with these Marauders, and Reynor's going to have to forfeit the base.
Yeah, that Roach flank didn't quite work out. They ran into some tanks at the back, but instead of surprising the tanks, they were just taken out, right? So Maru's actually still max while Reynor frantically tries to replenish his supply. He did have a bit of a bank before that fight, so he's going to be able to do that rather quickly. We see 4 Ultras on the field, and he's still working on his upgrades. +2 armor now, as well as +3 melee on the way.
Yeah, and for Reynor, it's a lot of lost mining time, losing that expansion, and a lot of lost creep spread as well, as Maru's now pushing closer and closer to this 6 o'clock expo. Reynor, he's trying to get economic damage done with this Ling run by, but oh man, those Widowmines got a lot of hurt.
Yeah, the Lings did actually get into that base, though, eventually. They're going to be able to take out 10 workers, which is rather nice. The main issue for Reynor, though, is that he's down to 4 bases right now. If he had a 5th base and he was still mining with all his workers and they were all saturated, I think you could say he's in a really good position. But once Maru cleans this up, I think he will be just fine. Yeah, that, you know, he does have another base up there as well. He's on 5 bases of his own. Reynor's going to clean up the remaining forces down here. These tanks in a bit of an annoying position to push into without taking too many losses. But Maru will just pick up and go home.
Liberator's slowly getting cleaned up here by the Spore Crawlers. Is Reynor, he hasn't even tried to send a drone out yet. Okay, now we see it there in the bottom left, trying to retake this expansion. Will he do the same here in the top left? Aw, Widowmine burrow there. Mapu highlights it already has 1 kill, so it did likely take down a drone that was trying to expand at the 9 o'clock. I was wondering why he didn't do that while there was the pressure going on at the bottom right, and that explains why. And look at that infrastructure setup there for Maru. So many barracks, Ghost now coming online, additional command center in production. As Maru's economic machine is just not skipping anything right now. I mean, there are no brakes on this train here for Maru as he pushes again into the bottom right.
Yeah, I really like the Sim City from Maru, just from an aesthetics point. Everything's so nicely organized and in line. It's very pleasing to look at. This Infestor, though, is burrowed near all these Marines. Will he pull the trigger? There's no other units to actually jump on that Bible if he were to get them, so he decides to save the fungal for now, but that is something to keep an eye on, as one big fungal can suddenly change the game here.
Yeah, more Ultras in production. +3 armor also now coming in for Reynor, trying to equalize upgrades here against a 3-3 Maru with +2 vehicle armor as well. So those Widow Mines extra tanky. Can this Infestor actually find the angle? Maru, if he's got a keen eye, he might be able to spot this.
Yeah, you're probably looking at the front there. He's even got a turret going up now to detect these Infestors that are sharking around the Terran army. One just out the scan range, though. Still one behind. Will he decide to pull the trigger on that and unburrow? The Ghosts are starting to come on the field now for Maru as well, which is where the Terran late game gets scary.
It's a relatively low energy Infestor, so likely only going to be 1 fungal. We'll see if he can get it right now on those Ghosts. Indeed he does. Ultra's now coming in, but the Liberators are there on the front line. All right, Bailing's got a pretty good connection. That's a lot of those Ghosts going down. It looks like only 2 surviving, so Reynor with a much-needed win here in the bottom right is able to force a retreat from Marva.
Oh, another fungal from the back.
Is huge.
Absolutely big plays here from Reynor, finding a way back into the game. I thought he was going to do the first fungal on the Marines because they were all kind of clumped up, but he chose a better target than that. He said, nope, I want all those expensive Ghosts, takes them out, and now suddenly he's turning this game around state and has Maru on the back foot.
Yeah, and Reynor needed to do this. You look at how much money he has coming in right now. It's considerably less mineral income here than Maru. He's yet to establish a 5th base. This is a 4-base economy Zerg trying to push back against a Terran who's encroaching all the way into the top left. And for Reynor, it was do or die. If he didn't make a big play like that one happen, Maru would be going into the playoffs with a 2-0 victory. But now things have kind of equalized.
Yeah, if you get up to those high Ghost counts, like 15, 20, for example, the Terran army becomes so incredibly scary. You have basically infinite snipes. But Reynor, like you said, it was do or die, and he made it happen. Beautiful positioning with the Infestors, dodging the scans, sharking around, and he gets that fungal off. Maru is not out of this game yet, though. He is still maxed out. He did have a bank to work with, and he's going to start pushing some of these new bases of Reynor's.
Yeah, Reynor trying to revitalize the creep spread here in the top left and in the bottom right. Then at the lane run by comes into this expansion. That command center really low, so Maru is going to lift it off.
Yeah, that base has kind of been the weak spot of Maru in this game, right? The Lings are constantly getting in and doing damage.
I'm surprised you don't have like a bunker with a couple Widow Mines over there.
Yeah, that would go a long way in dealing with this for sure. Reynor, though, even burrowing the Zerglings, just being annoying as possible with those. You love to see it. And these Liberators are going to start to try and harass. There's no fungal available here, so the Ultras shouldn't be able to get on top of those Ghosts.
Yeah, those Ghosts are going to survive for now. This Liberator getting some economic damage done. Just playing a ring around the rosy right now here with this Spore Crawler. His Raider's going to have to vacate this expansion again. And you look at the mineral and gas income. Reynor, he's still not maxed. Maru with quite considerable amount of money in the bank. So another engagement is going to be coming in. These Ultras in the front line, very vulnerable. Plus, Carapace is now done. Bailing's actually finding good connections and a big fumble. All right, it only gets 3 of those Ghosts. It doesn't catch every single one. But even if it did, actually looking at the board now, there isn't enough army on the ground here for Reynor for a follow-up.
Yeah, that wasn't quite the money fungal you're looking for as Reynor. And so many Ultras, these expensive units go down. He's frantically trying to stay in this game, but I think Maru might be running away with this right now. A lot of Ghosts with medevac support, infinite healing basically. Reynor trying to take a goal base, trying to do whatever he can to get his money up, but he is out of minerals despite having 2k gas.
Yeah, the gas income was there, but having a 5th base delayed, or I should say denied for so long by Maru is just really painful economically here for Reynor. He made some dream engagements happen. He had some very cost-efficient trades, but in the end, Maru's economy is simply too strong. Even with all the Ling run buys, although this one gets denied, going into that triangle expansion there at the 3rd base for Maru, that was good work put in by Reynor, but it's just a small dent in what he's got.
Yeah, I really thought Reynor was making a big comeback in this game with the economic damage. More ultras going down here. This may be the final engagement. Maru looking to push through. The drones start to fall here. The Zerg army is in tatters. I don't even know what's left of it right now. Just a bunch of corruptors and that infester. A few Lings up here going to try and pick off wherever they can, but there's a Widowmine. Nice hold position micro there. Is able to save some of those Lings. And Maru will rotate now to the other fresh base of Reynor.
And with ultras and very little creep spread, it's almost impossible to secure this base, as Maru is going to take that 2-0 victory in the winners match over Reynor. He is going to be the first Terran moving on to the RSL Season 3 playoffs. For Reynor, he is not out of the tournament yet. He's going to be in the final match of this group. But my goodness, what a performance from Maru.
Maru looking so strong in this matchup. I haven't seen him playing it for a little while, but he still looks absolutely amazing. I really like the different builds he brought out here today. The quick 3 CCs, you know, the build we just saw, and then he's looking so strong right now.
Honestly, that was one of the more impressive TVZs that I have seen from Maru in a very long time, and that says a lot considering this is Maru we're talking about, because I know I've heard about his wrist problems or his shoulder problems. He has some kind of injury that makes it hard to control.
Right.
But that was peak control coming in from Maru in that series, and it was just confident bio play. It was so clutch. You love to see it coming in from the Terran GOAT in StarCraft 2, and I'm really excited to watch him play in the playoffs.
Yeah, and Reynor didn't play bad or anything. Like, Reynor played really well, I thought. Yeah. Like, if that was a lesser Terran, he might have just won that game much earlier. But Maru on another level right now, State. And Reynor will have to move on to the next match.
Yeah, he's going to have to face the winner of SOS versus Ryung. But before then, if you're watching this live, we invite you to join us at youtube.com/@ReviveSC2. We love the support that you guys are giving us on YouTube. This thing is getting bigger and better every single day. But if you haven't joined just yet, we welcome you to drop by, subscribe, leave a comment, watch the video. Even if you're watching live on Twitch, just check it out sometime later, because we're still trying to get the word out here for RSL. I still run into people, I feel like almost on a weekly or monthly basis, who haven't heard of the RSL just yet, because unless you're really plugged into the news in StarCraft 2, there's a lot that can fly under the radar. So we're trying to bring StarCraft 2 action to even more people, and the best way you can help us do that is to subscribe to the YouTube, click the bell, leave a like, leave a comment, all those very cliche things.
Yeah, if you've been living under a rock, this is your wake-up call that the RSL is happening. And yeah, please help us spread the word, guys. It means a lot and helps out so much.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, the lower match here in Group D, it's going to be SOS versus Riong. We'll be back in a minute.